Hola. From the west side. It's me, DC, the Purple Diva. And welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Thursday night, everybody. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. I did another pop-up today, and it was actually pretty cool. Tonight I don't know how much voice I have, so I hope I can do this because I was doing some singing earlier. But we're gonna push through it. I have some tea that I'm drinking, so I hope that helps my voice come back. But in the meantime, it's gonna sound a little bit on the raspy side. Anyway, I guess I can start it out with what happened thus far in the Robin Crawford book, A Song for You, about Whitney Houston and basically her time in Whitney Houston's life. Hey, DLD.
What?
How are you doing, Leper? Happy Thursday night. I was just going to expound on where I am in the Robin Crawford book. I'm up to chapter 13 now. And I'm right at the point where she's about to do her third album. And I've already gotten to the point where she met Bobby. But some of the things that I'm seeing in here is that the relationship that Whitney That's good. I'm doing good. Whitney Houston really, really cared a whole lot about Eddie Murphy. And I think the relationship between her and Eddie Murphy happened after she had met Bobby. And she had gone out with Bobby, but she wasn't serious about Bobby at that time. But she was serious about Eddie. But Eddie was never really serious about her. He did a number on her self-esteem. You know, I mean, he kind of, because he's a comedian. So he made fun of her wearing the weaves. And she was already sensitive about wearing the weaves because the reason she wore the weaves, as I said on last night, was because of her mother. Her mother made her feel unpretty with her own natural hair, So she started wearing the weaves. And Eddie made fun of the weaves, and he also made fun of the fact, he made fun of a lot of different things with her. And she was very, very self-conscious. And he would always refer to them as friends. But she had a lot more feelings for him. So Robin goes on in the book and she talks about Whitney going to Eddie Murphy's house on his birthday with a coat on and a cake and pretty much her birthday suit under the coat. And being turned away at the gate because he was occupied with someone else. And basically, the way that Robin talks in this book, she makes it seem like Whitney was chasing after Eddie. And she also seems to indicate that when it came to speaking her mind, Whitney had no problem speaking her mind to like another woman or to Robin, but with men, she was not able to speak her mind. And that she took it really, really hard when she went to Eddie's house and he didn't see her that night and went on a 2-day drug binge before she went home. But it also talks about the time at the Soul Train Awards when she got booed for several years because people didn't think that her music was black enough because her music was crossing over, and you know, other people other than us liked it. And then it goes on to talk about how she wanted a specific producer to work on her third album, but Clive X-nayed it, and that's how she ended up working with L.A. Reid and Babyface on her third album. I think that's the album that had I'm Your Baby Tonight. I like that song, actually. I think it's that album. So I'm at that point in the book. So that's where we are, and we're on chapter 13. So I don't even want to think about how many more chapters there are of this girl, you know, telling this story, you know, because at this point in the book, Whitney's only 25 years old. So we know at 25, she did not marry Bobby. She was a little older when she married Bobby. So this was at least several years before that happened. But one of the points that Robin did make in the book is, I guess they went to go see the movie Beaches, the original movie Beaches with Bette Midler in it. And I guess because of how the ending of that movie was, Whitney asked her that when she died, if she died, that she didn't want a whole bunch of flowers at her funeral, and she wanted Cece to sing at her funeral. I don't believe that they didn't have a whole lot of flowers at her funeral, but I do know that Cece did sing at her funeral. So that was one thing that she did get. And then she also goes on and talks about how she was, I guess, seeing this girl that worked for Whitney, and it's not the one that she's married to, but a girl before that. And Whitney got really, really upset about that and asked her if she slept with the girl. And this was at the time, I guess, when Robin moved out of the house that she was at with Whitney and moved into a condo, which Whitney paid for. And so it's a lot of people up in the clouds. A lot of people in the clouds. Come on out the clouds, y'all. I can see that you're here. But anyway, at least smash the like button if you're going to stay in the clouds. Hey, Wendy, how are you? So Whitney got really upset with Robin about dating other women and went over to the condo that she had bought for Robin and that Bible that she had given Robin when she had asked Robin to stop, you know, for them to stop having a physical relationship. She went into that Bible and tore out the pages where they had, you know, promised certain things to each other, whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was. That's good, Wendy. I'm glad you're doing good. So that's about all that's going on in here. But Robin does go into the fact that she realizes at some point in this part of their friendship that what Whitney really needed was a friend, somebody she could bounce things off of, someone she could trust. You know, that's what she really needed from Robin. She didn't need, you know, anything else. And then she also goes on to say that, you know, when she dated men, Whitney didn't seem to have a problem with it and actually encouraged it. Hey, Anna, how are you? I know it's late for you, but thank you for coming. Yeah. So to me, it sounds like Whitney, you know, was jealous was very possessive of Robin's time and Robin being her friend. And although she did not want to be in a physical relationship with Robin, she felt threatened by Robin if Robin thought about being in a relationship with another female, because she thought that that might take her from her. That's my opinion. Hey, Terry. Yeah, I'm just giving a recap of where I am in the never ending A Song for You book. I swear it's like a never ending book because every chapter is so freaking long. So, but that's where I am. So I'm basically at the point where she's doing her third album. And for those of you who are not Whitney Houston fans, that's the album that LA and Babyface produced that I'm Your Baby Tonight is on. Which is like one of her hardest songs to do. I know because I do it. But that part in the middle when she goes, yeah, saying all those words that fast, not easy. Not easy. So kudos to the voice, the golden voice. You know, may she rest in peace regardless of people putting books out about her. So that's all I had to say in regards to that one. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Amanda Seales coming out and I guess retracting her support for that guy on death row that's about to be executed. And she's giving some more information and some more clarification, you know, in her reasons for why she does not want to back him not being executed. And it's because not because he's guilty of this case, but because of other cases that he didn't get tried for, because he was found guilty in this case. And the people who have been putting the information out in regards to, you know, taking away the death penalty for him because he's not guilty in this particular situation, didn't give that information that, you know, he is in fact still a rapist. He just hasn't been convicted in those other rapes because they didn't go to trial because of this one. So I mean, what do you guys think in regards to that? You know, you know, they always put out half the information, and I know it's really up to people to do their own due diligence and into whether you support stuff. And in my opinion, I commend Amanda Seales for retracting her support, but also giving the reason why she's retracting her support and apologizing to people on her platform for not having all of the information in the first place. You know, but I mean, I see her point because those other cases really do deserve justice. And if he's not, and if they have found that he's not guilty in the case that he was supposed to be put to death for, my rationale would be then they should, you know, do those other cases. You know, and maybe stay the execution for now, pending finding out whether he's found guilty in those other ones where his DNA was found. Hey, Kelly. Norway. Well, greetings to you, Kelly, from Norway. Thank you for coming. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they should probably stay their execution, but my issue is that when they put the information out about staying the execution of him in that case, they should have also put out the information about the fact that he is potentially guilty in some other cases that were the same or similar. Even though I believe in those particular cases, the victims are still alive. You know, and see, he's using the defense of, if you know, he's a black man and you know he had secret relationships with these white women, you know, and we don't know that that's the case. I'm just being honest. You can't do this. Can't do this. We don't know that that's the case. I hate when people try to use the race card inappropriately. Well, I'm sorry, DOD Leper. I haven't had a chance to watch all of your videos. You must have uploaded it in the last 2 days, because I'm a couple of days behind on watching people's videos. You must have uploaded it in the last 2 days. Yeah, but still, my question still is on the table, Lefer, about how do you feel about the people who put the information about having the execution taken off the table, not presenting all of the information, you know, about him being potentially guilty in some other cases. Hey, Matt. You know what? Okay, a week ago. I'm gonna go watch that video when I finish this live tonight. I definitely must have missed it because I get the notifications for most of your videos. So I definitely must have missed it or not gotten a notification. Okay. So you speak on it in your video. Well, you want to come up and give us a synopsis of your opinion, Ledford? And then we can direct people back to your video to get more. I'll put the what you call it in the stream in case anybody wants to come up. Give me 1 second. I put the link in the stream if anybody wants to come up. If you want to come up and give people a brief synopsis And then we can also direct them to your channel to see the full length video. Because I'd like to know your opinion as well. Who doesn't have a video? Oh, he doesn't have a video, you're saying? Oh, Wendy says you don't have a video, Leffer. I know I don't have a video. But I saw Amanda Seals video on Instagram when she was talking about her feelings. But I put the link in the stream if anybody wants to come up. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. But yeah, that was kind of, just my take on it. But I'm glad that they have stayed the execution. But I still don't understand why they didn't give all the information up front when they, put that promotion out there to stay the execution, And then I also don't like the fact that a lot of people are doing a lot of work, and then, our friend Kim K takes a lot of credit for other people's work because of her platform. Cat got your tongue, Letford? You don't have to come up. You can say it in the chat if you want to. You can talk in the chat if you want to. Oh, there you are. Okay, let me let you in.
What's up? What's up?
Hey.
What's going on?
What's up?
What's for dinner?
Nothing's new. As you can see, I know how to do panels now. It was really easy. Thank you for showing me, though.
No problem. I hope that helped a little bit anyway.
It did help. I still messed up a little bit the first time I tried it, but Terry was gracious and was patient with me.
Okay, yeah, I know Terry gonna take care of it for you.
Yeah, he was patient.
That's a good brother there. Yeah, that's a good brother.
So Leffer, tell people a little bit about what they can expect in the video that everybody's gonna go watch.
Well, in the video, I kind of explained that, kind of like what I typed in the room already, mm-hmm. that it was okay. He was messing with a white woman whose boyfriend was a police officer.
Oh yeah, I know that part.
Right, the white boy found out. The white boy strangled the woman, his girlfriend, with a belt. Part of that belt was found in the white officer's, I think his car or his apartment, something. But it was found with his DNA on the white cop. Not the brother's DNA, but the white cop's DNA mm-hmm. was on the belt. Okay, but for whatever reason, they charged this brother because his semen was in her. Now, the white woman and this brother, they were in a relationship. Now, I contend that if you commit a crime of murder and if in Texas that crime is punishable by death, then that's what you should be executed for that crime if you did it. You shouldn't be executed for other crimes that you weren't convicted of. So even though I see this woman point that you're talking about, he may have committed these other crimes, these other rapes, but he was not convicted of those.
No, they never went to trial because he was convicted of this murder, of a capital crime.
Okay, that's right. That may be the case. That may be the case, but he was not convicted. Okay, he didn't even go to trial for those other crimes.
Yeah, because he was already on trial for this crime.
For this one, I get it, but it still doesn't. I mean, he still was not convicted or even went to trial for those other crimes.
Right.
So you can't. So by this time, I'm quite sure the statute of limitations is probably over with for those other crimes.
But my point, that's not even my point. My point is that when they were putting forth, the thing to get this one stayed, all the celebrities and everybody, no one brought that up, that was something that was in his background. And that's what my issue is that, put everything out there so we know everything. If, and that's
okay, but that has nothing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. Those other crimes that he committed has nothing to do with this one that they're trying to execute him for. That's why the other crimes were not brought up, because it has nothing to do with this. That would be like saying, okay, you committed misdemeanor driving infractions, but you go to court for stealing out of a store. Well, if the other crimes haven't been convicted of or even with the trial for, they're not brought up. They had nothing to do with your new case. They have nothing to do with this case that you have now. There's enough evidence.
Right.
There's
I'm
enough
talking
evidence
about in the trial, Leffert. I'm talking about when the celebrities were bringing this case to the public. I'm talking about them giving that information. I'm not talking about the lawyer.
That information has nothing to do with this. That's why it wasn't brought up.
I think it would be relevant just for people to know it, though.
That may be the case, but that had nothing to do with this crime that they're trying to execute him for.
Yeah, but I don't think that the statute may have run out on all of those other ones.
Okay, let's say that they haven't not ran out. Okay, we're still talking about this murder, that they have enough evidence to stay his execution, to look into it to see if he was legally and lawfully charged for it.
Right.
Because if they find out that he wasn't, that he is innocent of this, they're gonna let him go. Now, if those other crimes, those rapes that he committed or allegedly committed, if the statutes of limitations are not over for that, then they can try him on those.
That's what I'm saying is that right now would be the time that they should be doing that. While doing this 120 days, they should be trying to reopen those cases so that they already have their stuff in play, if in fact they have the DNA evidence, which is what they're saying.
Okay. I'm not arguing that. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that when the information was brought out in regards to having the stay of execution, people played more the race card. They didn't give you any information in regards to the gentleman's alleged criminal past, for similar things, sexual crimes. And that's my only point is that when the celebrities, because the lawyers are going to do what they want to do, but some of the celebrities, I think, and here's the thing, they knew the information but chose not to give that information
because it had nothing to do with this case.
I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the case, but it does have something to do with the person in the case. And yeah, people could still put their support behind it. And I'm not stating that, but I'm just saying they should also know all of the facts around the person that they're asking for the stay of execution and what will happen, what's the potential results of that other than him, being freed for this crime. Because there's a stack of other crimes that they're waiting for, obviously.
Right now, I haven't looked into the well, I know he has rape cases, but I haven't looked to see if statute of limitations has passed for those crimes. I don't know how Texas law goes. I didn't look into all of that.
I think the one that people are, I think it's the one in Minnesota, or was it Minnesota? I think it was in Minnesota. It was some other place, and it was also a white girl. So
yeah, right, yeah. Okay, but he was in a relationship with this white woman though.
And he claims that he was in a relationship with that one too.
Okay, well, but in this case, the white woman had talked to her friends, some of her friends, and some of her co-workers about being in a relationship with this guy, and they've already testified that she said they were in a relationship.
Yeah, no. I'm and that part I understand, but the thing is that I do believe that part of that may have been brought up in this particular case, and that was part of how they were able to get him on the capital charges because of that other one that they didn't take to trial. And I know that that's wrong of them doing it that way, but I think that's really what ultimately happened. Because
that's quite possible. But the way I see it is, it was a police officer that murdered this woman. They have a convenient fall guy in this brother because of, like you said, alleged rape cases or whatever he had in his past. So, and then they found his semen in this white woman. So it's an easy convenience to blame this brother for something that he didn't do. When the evidence of the strangulation of this from the woman's belt was found at the officers at his residence or in his car, I forget which one it was, but the evidence of that belt that was used to strangle this woman was found on that officer.
Terry, you still buffering? Terry said he was buffering.
You need to refresh your screen.
Yeah.
Because I'm good here. I don't see it buffering.
Yeah, my YouTube is fine because I'm looking at my YouTube on my phone. And Matt,
I think you need to refresh your screen, Terry. Go out and come back in.
Yeah, he's probably going to sue in this particular case, and he probably needs to because he's going to need all the money he can because that other case is just waiting.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. If the statute of limitations hasn't ended on it, yeah, they will try to convict him for those crimes as well. They definitely will. Now those crimes won't land him on death row, but he'll be put back in jail
anyway. And I don't think it's a capital, and I don't think in the state that other crime happened, I don't think he'll get the death penalty because I don't think it's a capital punishment state anyway. And the person's alive.
Right, that's what I said. I said they'll probably try to, if the statute of limitation hasn't ended, and they will try him, but that won't land him on death row.
Yeah, because it's not because it didn't happen in Texas. That I do know.
Now I don't know if they will give him time served for this other crime that he didn't commit. I don't know how that works. Like I said, I didn't really do the research on that.
He may be able to get that.
I mean, it's two different crimes, so he may not get it because it's two different crimes, so he may not get time served. I don't know how it works. Like I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because neither one of these is a federal case, so.
Right.
It depends on the state.
Exactly. Right.
Which is why he, obviously he's going to have to. We're still talking about that guy, Ricky, somebody or another. Rodney. Yeah, Rodney Reed. That him. That one.
Yeah, Rodney Reed.
Rodney. I don't know why I want to call him Ricky. But yeah. but yeah, that's that's my only issue is not knowing, not bringing all of the information, being forthcoming. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it would have been good for people to know. It just wouldn't have had any impact on this crime because it had nothing to do with it.
Nope.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. It'd be good. It'd be good to be out there for people to know.
Terry's
and then like you said, you can support.
Terry doesn't know who he is.
Right. Then, like you said, you can support him on that basis if you want to, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. I get what you're saying.
Terry, you don't know who it is? I mean, I couldn't remember his name, but even I knew who he was. I knew if the dude that's on death row in Texas. But Terry doesn't watch the news.
You should have watched my video. I thought he left a comment on my video about it. Maybe he didn't.
Then obviously he's forgotten.
No, I'm not gonna say that he did. I may be mistaken. I know. He usually leaves. He usually leaves comments on my video. So, but I may be mistaken on this one.
He hasn't seen the video.
Oh, okay.
But I forgot. Terry doesn't watch the news. I forgot. He doesn't. He told me that he doesn't watch that. Well, yes, because most of the stuff that you're getting on the news is not real. It's not the real picture. Not the real picture at all. But I think he can hear us now.
Okay, cool, great.
His channel is Deacon of Defense, Matt.
All you got to do is just click on my name there, and it'll take him to my channel.
Click on his name, and it'll take you to his channel. It's Deacon of Defense. Yeah, that's who it is, Terry. That's who we're talking about. And Amanda Seales made a video about why she was retracting her support. And she added just the details of other things in his past that troubled her. And she did say that she definitely doesn't think that he should be executed for this crime. She just was troubled by the fact that all of the facts weren't out there, and it just kind of gives people a skewed view in regards to him. That he's innocent, but he's you want to know that he's innocent, but he's not totally innocent, because he's not innocent. He's not just an innocent man who's just hasn't done anything wrong. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, Terry did look at it. So you're not crazy, Terry. You're not crazy, Leffert.
Well, that's good to know that I'm not crazy.
Not crazy.
That's good to know.
That's hilarious. He couldn't remember.
But Terry normally watches my videos, and when he watches them, he always leaves a comment. So.
Yep.
Unlike some other people on the panel here, they don't watch my videos all the time.
Well, so. I do watch the videos, most of your videos, but I am bad about leaving comments on everybody's videos. I'm trying.
I'm just messing with you, Diva. I'm just messing with you. You're my girl.
Oh, Lord. Terry, come on up and tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, come on up, Terry. It'd be good to see you, bro. Talk to you.
Come on up and tell us how you really feel, Terry.
I've never talked to him. Just through chat and stuff like that, but I never had a conversation.
She's a coonette. Tell us how you really feel. She thinks she's woke.
Who's that?
Amanda Seales thinks she's woke.
Oh, Amanda Seales? Oh, okay.
And Terry says she's a coonette.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have any feelings one way or another in regards to her as a person.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm only talking about
Yeah.
this one issue. Outside of this, I could take her or leave her.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How are the flyers dying down out there? Or are they still blazing?
We good. Yeah, we're good right now. Okay. Hey, Terry.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, D?
All right, man. How's it going, bro? All right. Good to finally talk to you, man.
Yeah, you too, brother. Absolutely. Glad to be here. Thank you, Diva, for inviting me up.
Absolutely. So tell us about Amanda, because like I said, I don't really know that much about her. I mean, I know who she is and everything, but as far as her ideology or anything, no, I don't know none of that.
Well, I mean, it just seems like some of the things that that I've heard that she has commented. It just seems like she's a coon, to me. It just seems like she's trying to change the narrative of certain things to maybe influence people in a way that tends to move away from the interest of blacks in general, as far as I'm concerned at this particular point. And I'm not surprised, when Dick had mentioned that he had an opinion, an adverse opinion about this brother who got a stay of execution. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised. I mean, who really is asking her opinion in the first place, and why does she feel that she needs to offer all the time? I mean, who is she? You know what I mean?
Oh, and in her little Instagram, she plugged her book.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
She plugged her book while she was talking about this.
Right.
So you may have a point, Terry.
Yeah, so I mean, I really, I don't respect blacks like that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, I think it's just a narrow way of thinking to me, and strike everything out of her.
She's one of those. I think she has a master's degree or something.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so she's one of those real educated sisters.
Yeah, so-called.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. I said, when how some people are, once they got a master's degree, they think, they know everything, and what you talking about? You don't know nothing.
Yeah, by and large, yes. Yes. So, I take it, with a grain of salt. I don't follow him very closely, though. I will say that. But when I do find any information on someone like her, it's only because I'm perusing my phone and I happen to see a video. And it's just everything I've heard thus far has been pretty negative to me. So,
yeah.
Terry, let me ask you a question, Terry. What do you think, because of what he allegedly has done in the past, that should be a part of what's going on with this case?
Are you talking about the brother in Texas?
Right, the Rodney Reed.
Well, I don't know all the details, brother, to be honest with you. I was just happy that he got a stay of execution. Obviously, there's some questions there in his case that has to be investigated, and I was glad, that's an opportunity to, maybe be able to give something overturned. I mean, you never know, or maybe even reduced to time served and not death row, at least. So, but probably not. I mean, I'd have to actually look at that particular new piece of evidence to really give you a real competent opinion. But yeah, it could very well have something to do with this. Very well. I don't know.
Well, what I'm saying is he was charged for. Well, yeah, he was charged for rape and other cases, but those cases were never brought to court.
Oh, okay.
Right, and I was saying that shouldn't be a factor in what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I think I heard Diva talk about depending on the state, and I'm sure there's some statutes that talk about as far as the time frame, statute of limitations as well. That also could be a factor. Um, but the devil is in the details. You'd have to actually look at the actual case. Um, Obviously, no two cases are exactly the same all the time. So, until I do that, I couldn't give really a precise. I could give a precise answer once I look at it.
And the thing is because of Me Too, a lot of states have lengthened their statutes of limitations.
Oh, really? Okay, that's something that I didn't know.
Right, and that's why I say that if he gets off on this case, and if the statute of limitations hasn't expired on those other cases, then he should be tried for them.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They would.
Because they allegedly have his DNA.
Okay. I think Innocence Project is gotten involved in this as well. I read somewhere that they're actually inserted themselves in it somewhere. So.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that it was probably if the Innocence Project was involved in it, then it's probably their efforts that got the stay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it was that and over 3,000, I think, signatures, a petition, because I signed it.
Right, I did hear about.
I think it was Angel Lives. I think it's Angel Lives that she was doing a live stream and she put the petition link, and then everybody that was in the room. Well, I can't say everybody, but I know I signed it.
Oh man, I missed her live. She goes live so sporadically now.
Well, you know what? It wasn't Angel. It was Angel Live because she's the ones out here in Vegas. But it was a lady named Angel
Lives. That's what I'm saying. I know her.
Well, okay, right, okay. But yeah, I don't think it was her that dropped the link to that petition. It was another Angel.
It was just somebody in her live.
No. It was a lady named Angel that has a channel that I wouldn't visit. I just can't remember what the correct channel name is, but it's Angel something. Yeah,
because I follow a couple of angels, and one of them is a man. So.
Okay. Yeah. No. This was another woman.
Yeah. But did you guys hear all that chatter? It's been floating on YouTube too about that originally someone had wanted Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman when the writer of the Harriet Tubman first was doing the draft of it like 9 or 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I saw. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I actually saw that today.
I saw the title. I saw the title of it. I didn't even go into the arc. I just laughed, kept it moving.
Well, and then they're saying that, and then the executive went on to further when they were, when someone put the point that, but Harriet Tubman was Black.
Right.
And then the producer says, yeah, but people will have forgotten that now. And then this is the thing that Wendy Williams said on her show. She says, now, the one thing that most people know, white, black, pink, or purple, they may not know any other Black person in our history, but they know about that one. And they know that she was Black.
Right.
So who's going to forget that?
See, to me, that's an attempt to try to show, hey, white people were out here. Well, white people during slavery were trying to help Black people. That's all that was. That's all the imagery that I'm guessing that they were trying to pull off, to perpetrate.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. I mean, it's as crazy as, Elizabeth Taylor, rest in peace. playing Cleopatra. And
Cleopatra,
Burt Reynolds, you know, well, no, he could have still played Mark Anthony, but she had no business playing Cleopatra.
Right.
I was like, he could have still played his part, but no, she couldn't. She shouldn't have been in there.
Well, all of the Egyptian movies have white people in them. They have black slaves, but all of the main characters are always going to be white, or always have been white.
Right. It's like, but here's the thing. It's like, if all those Sphinx men, if the Egyptians weren't black, then why would somebody who's not black, or, and I don't even like, I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but someone who's not black put a black person's face on it? You put your own face on it.
Right. Your
own face. But in the earlier chat, I got into it with well, not really into it. It was just kind of a discussion, and it was actually a legitimate point that he made. But one of the people in the chat was talking about the fact that, you know, nobody's really black and nobody's really white. So why do we even use those colors? And then I went into the thing I said, because of colonialism. That's why we use those colors, because they made them up.
Exactly.
I was like, before that, it was based on what country you came from.
Right.
Period.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then, you know, and then he was also talking about, you know, I also brought up the fact that, you know, when I was born, my birth certificate said that I was a Negro and my dad was a Negro, my mom was, because back then you couldn't say if you were black and Latino. You couldn't say it. So you had to pick one. So it said Negro. And then flash forward to when my son is born, it says that I'm African American, but my birth certificate said that I was a Negro. I'm African American of Latin descent, you know, his dad is African American, and you know, my son, but I'm like we've gone through so many different changes in what we want to call ourselves. And I think, you know, I said, but the real thing is that really there is no such thing as an African American. We're just Americans.
But it's based on it's based on what they called us, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't based on what we called ourselves. It was their classifications, all of it. So
here's the thing: we're the ones who changed it from. We're the ones who decided it should be changed from Negro to Black, and we're the ones who decided that we didn't want to be called Black anymore. We wanted to be called African American. So we fed into the original one, you know, all the way through, and really. And I think it's really because everybody else all of a sudden is calling themselves something else and American, because they, you know, they know that their family is from Europe or from Italy, you know, but we can only say African because we don't know what country. We have no country.
I never hear anybody call themselves European American.
No, but I'm saying they call themselves Italian American, or they'll call themselves, you know, Irish American. They do.
Oh yeah, good. Okay, all right. Well,
you know, that's what I'm saying. They'll use whatever country their ancestors came from. I said, but then we can't do that because we don't know.
What do you mean we don't know?
We just know the continent.
Oh, so you're saying we can't say like Ethiopian American or Ghanaian American?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, those particular areas didn't, except for Ethiopia, those areas didn't exist in those particular times. They were organized in territorial states, really.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, but when the renaissance of those let's say in the 60s, when you saw, in history books, we've seen, and on film, we've seen a resurgence of a embracing of their African heritage, because things were lost like that, because we wear their names. All of it is something that we can relate to. All of it we could potentially claim because of that very, very reason. You could say Africa is your mother, all of it, wherever it is, because of that fact. And so that's how really a lot of people have come to understand, through their mental struggle, and they're realizing that, okay, I don't know exactly where I'm from, but I know I'm from Africa, so I'll claim it all. So
he was making a point because he happens to be
right,
Filipino and Black, and he's,
no, I understand. What I'm saying is, that's how people get around the fact that they don't know precisely where they're from on the continent. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and his point is that people will look at, like, they'll look at my skin or your skin, and they automatically assume that we're Black or that we're African American, and that,
right.
and the same thing with him. Even though he's he's half Filipino, he just happens to be one that looks more Black than Filipino. And I understand what you're saying. You can't really look at somebody's skin color and determine their ethnicity. That's not the right way. No. And it's technically illegal in this country, but they do it anyway.
Right. Well, as you know, I'm just throwing this in there. Our people run the gamut in terms of skin tone, and you will find some people looking like Asians in some parts of Africa. They don't have any Asian in them. Yes, you obviously know about the albinos, and you actually know about who are very, very
exactly. So, we even talked about that, because I'm like right. even the blackest, the darkest person on this planet, that person is not really Black either. They're just a really, 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 really dark brown. I said, and even the whitest albino is not really white. We all know that no person's skin is, either one of that. Even an albino has a little teeny bit of melanin in their skin that keeps them from being completely white.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, and you can really find this out historically, even before race mixing really went on in Africa in a big way as well. So we know we run the gamut, you know what I mean, before the interference of Europeans historically.
Oh yeah,
and the only race of people that can claim that.
Absolutely.
That we run the gamut in different shades.
About blue eyes, the myth about blue eyes coming from this one man in somewhere in Northern Europe, but that can't be possibly true, because then you have all these people on the continent of Africa that have blue eyes.
Absolutely.
Don't have any, connection to that man in Europe. So you can't explain.
No, you can explain in 2 words.
Blue eyes are an anomaly. Anything other, it's an anomaly. You can't trace it back to that one person, because then you have all these people in Africa that have it too.
Original people. We are the original people, so we're gonna have all of that.
And then I'm like,
we're gonna have straight hair, we're gonna have curly hair, blue eyes, light skin, dark skin.
I'm like, and then our eyes are all these different shades. I said, and then in the Brown family, I'm like, you have people whose eyes are so dark brown that they look like they're Black, but they're not really Black. They're just really, really dark brown. And then you have people who have, whose eyes are lighter. But I'm like, I said, but the lighter your eyes are, the more the more light sensitive your eyes are. I said, because my eyes are probably more sensitive to light than my son's eyes, because his eyes are a darker brown. You know, I said, so having lighter colored eyes, you know, doesn't always mean that. And then he was talking about that surgery. You know, the people are getting done to change the color of their eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard about that.
They don't do it in the United States.
So they're trying to get their eyes darker or lighter?
No,
or both?
they really, you know how tiny T.I.'s wife suddenly has them silver colored eyes. She went and had that surgery done. But then I also hear that you run the risk of losing your eyesight.
I hope it's worth it for people that do it. I don't understand why they would do it, but hey.
Because I understand that, I think that the daughter, because the daughter went and did it too, that it started messing with her eyesight. Because I'm like, what are they putting in your eyes? I'm like, there's a reason why everybody's eyes aren't light.
I mean, but is it a dye? What is the procedure? What are they doing?
That it's some doctors over, and I think it's somewhere in the Middle East, where they go and they get their eyes done. They'll get them done like aquamarine blue and green and gray and all these strange colors.
I'm gonna have to look into it because I'm trying to figure out what is the procedure to do that.
I think it's a procedure similar to like LASIK eye surgery that, you know, people get done to correct their vision. But it's not approved in the United States.
Okay.
And so I was telling them, I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I said, first of all, it's not, you can't get it done in the United States. Second of all, it's risky because you run the potential of you might lose your eyesight. So what's the point of getting this other color eyes? Then you won't ever be able to see out of them or see them. Everybody else will be able to see pretty color eyes, but you won't be able to see.
Right.
So now is it reversible? Does it wear off over time? Do you know?
I don't know if it's reversible. That's the thing. I think she was trying to do something to get the things, because they actually put something in their eye.
Is it an injection?
They put something in their eye to change. Yes, to change
the
eye lens.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, is there pigment in the eyes?
If you search around YouTube, Leopard, if you search around YouTube, you will find it. It's on YouTube.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll check it out.
On YouTube. I'm like, I
sounds like potentially dangerous.
I was like, I said, you know, you can just go get some colored contact lenses.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you just get some little colored contact lenses. I said, they make those now so that they look like they really your eyes. Just do that.
And without the possible side effects and going blind. So yeah, just get the contacts.
Yeah, but the only thing is, and this is what I tell people, I say, even if you get those contacts, none of those contacts are, even if they tell you it has no prescription in it, none of them really have no prescription. All of them have some slight prescription in it, and so you may run the potential of you never had to wear glasses, but because you start putting these contacts on, now you wear glasses.
But don't they have those contacts with prescriptions?
They do have with prescription, but I'm talking about, you know, the ones where people be buying them in the stores and stuff that they supposedly have no prescription in it. I'm telling you, a doctor that I know told me that all contacts, even the ones that say they have no prescription in them, have a slight prescription in them.
Okay.
So
anyway,
if you've got 20/20 vision, why you want to put something on your eye?
Yeah.
Vanity. I was like, there's downfalls to having lighter colored eyes. Trust me, your eyes are sensitive to the sun, so stop it.
Good question. Absolutely.
Talk about whitewashing. I'm looking at what Mark is saying. Matt is saying. He's talking about. He said Joe Budden is on the Ricky Smiley show now.
Joe Biden?
No, he said Joe. He said Joe. Is it? Oh, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is on Ricky Smiley. I'm like, okay. I mean, but Ricky. I mean, Ricky is a. I mean, he's just. I don't think he's on there because Ricky is endorsing him. I think he's just on there because he's trying to get the black vote. And isn't Ricky taking over Tom Joyner?
Who?
Ricky is taking over the because Tom Joyner is supposedly retiring, and Ricky is supposedly taking his show, moving it from Atlanta to Texas, and taking over the Tom Joyner show, and it's going to be his show, and he's getting all that entire market that Tom Joyner had.
Good for him.
So that might be why Biden is going on there because that's a large market. But the thing is that Tom has a different market than Ricky does. I think he has an older, older black folk follow him. And then Ricky has probably more the younger crowd, even though he's not that young himself.
Well, I'm sure they looked at the numbers and decided he's going to keep a whole lot of those older black people and then bring in all of those, all of those young black people as well. So
yeah, because
I don't think the numbers be changed too much.
Yeah, because Tom Joyner does those cruises. My dad's been on that cruise. And they have all the they'll have all the older groups, like the groups with the in front of their name.
Right.
Yeah.
And
right.
I had thought about going on one of them, to kind of hang out with my dad. But then when he told me, the age range of most of the people, I'm like, nah, I think they too old for me. I don't want no old men running after me on no boat.
Wait, a bunch of senior citizens?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not that young either, but I'm talking about, I don't need no 70-year-old man trying to talk to me. I ain't that old.
That's what I mean, yeah. Wow. Nah, you definitely want to skip that if at all possible.
Exactly. He was just saying that the crowd was, majority definitely, over 60, even though they did have some groups that were in my era. The bulk of the people were old. That's no, I'm not coming.
Right.
What is it? Isn't 55 years old considered a senior citizen, or is it 60? What's the number? I thought it was 55.
Actually, 55 is considered a senior citizen now.
65. Okay.
Yeah.
It was 65.
Well, 55 these days, because you start getting, and actually some places give the discount at 50. But you can generally get all of the discounts at 55.
Okay. Yeah.
But it depends, because some places do make you wait until you're 60. I'll be there before you will, Ledford.
Hey, well, but eventually I'll get there too.
I said, but I'll be there before you do.
You can show me around like a senior in high school showing the freshmen around. You can show me around.
Man, when I turned double nickels, a friend of mine told me about the Tuesday sales at Ross. I didn't know nothing about them until then. that you can get
Tuesday sales.
on Tuesdays at Ross. You can get I think it's like a 10 or 20% discount on anything if you're over the age of 55. All you have to do is show your ID.
Oh, okay.
Show
I know they do that at the movie theaters as well.
Yeah, movie theaters, I think you got to be 60. A lot of them want you to be 60.
I got 6 years for that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I got 6 years for that one.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. I'll be 49 next month.
49? Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah.
How old you gonna be? 45?
9.
49?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're close to my sister. My sister's a little older than you. She's like a year older than you.
And happy early birthday to you, brother.
Yeah. You're
the 7th.
Oh, right
7th,
after Christmas?
Nah, 7th. Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh,
December 7th.
Yeah,
oh,
7th.
it's coming up soon.
Yeah. A couple of weeks, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. My mom's birthday is the 30th. I'll be going.
November?
Yep. I go celebrate it. Me and my sister, we go and visit her gravesite on her birthday.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. You got any special plans, Terry?
Probably not, man. I honestly I don't do very, very much. I just try to get a lot of money into investments as much as I try to push as much as I can in there. I'm sorry, because for the last 11 years I've been making up for what I too ignorant to do when I was in my 20s, to be honest with you. So I don't spend a whole lot of money. So if I do, I might go out to cigar lounge, maybe. I might do, because I've only been to one, in Sacramento here. But
right.
Yeah, that might be it, brother. I might have a drink somewhere,
oh yeah, the cigar lounges are nice though. I told you that.
Absolutely.
They are nice.
Yes. So I was
go out, have a cigar, have a nice cognac, and listen to some music.
Yeah. So that might be. Excuse me. Hold on for a second.
All right.
Yeah. That might be,
Have you ever been to a hookah lounge, Diva?
A hookah lounge? Yeah, I have been to a hookah lounge. I've been to a cigar lounge too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been to both.
Yeah.
I dated somebody who smoked cigars, so I went a couple of times with them.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that once. Yeah.
That was a while back though. I was like,
I haven't had a cigar this week yet though. I haven't had one
really?
Yet. Yeah, not yet. No, not yet. Now I only do. I mean, I might do 2, 3. I don't. I'm not an everyday, and I know guys that can do 5, 6 a day. I don't, and I don't see how people can have the time to do that, because it takes at least 2 hours to smoke a cigar. Seriously, if you do it right. Yeah. It's not a cigarette, so I don't see. I mean, who's got the time to be smoking 5 or 6 cigars a day anyway?
That's crazy.
If you work, you got to work. Yeah, if you're raising kids, I don't understand that. But some people get it in. I'm like, man,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to smoke 5 cigars a day. I wouldn't want to do it anyway, regardless if I had the time or not.
Right, I know. I mean, you don't inhale it, but it's just that it's so time consuming as it is. I might have time for 2. I don't have that kind of time, like that. Yeah. So I don't.
What's your favorite kind?
Pardon?
What's your brand?
I like all premiums though, Deke. I'm not actually hooked to one, but I do like the Maduros. I do like those kind. But as far as the particular brand, there's so many out there that I try. I try Julio, Romeo Julieta. I do the Punch. I do that one. Man, I mean, there's so many. I do the Macanudo. I do that. I mean, it just goes on and on. You know what I mean? But I do like the full body ones though.
Terry, did I tell you my dad bought back for one of his friends? Because my dad doesn't smoke cigars. He used to smoke pipe, but he brought back on the last time he went to Cuba some of those Cuban cigars for one of his friends.
Right. I think I remember you mentioned that. Absolutely. See, next time he goes, let me know. I'll definitely send him some money from me.
Yep, he sure did.
Aren't the Cuban cigars supposed to be the best in the world?
Supposed to be. Like I went on a trip. I went on a trip to I went on a jazz cruise and we went to Bermuda, and so we were able. They were able to sell the Cuban cigars on the ship when we were in Bermuda, but people had to they had to smoke them while they were out there because they couldn't bring them back into the United States.
Right.
But they were able to get them in the duty free on the ship.
They don't check your bags on the way out, do they?
They do.
Oh, okay. Because I want to try it.
Yeah, because because we were coming back into the country from Bermuda, and this was on the East Coast. So yeah, they do.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't like how California is when ships come back into port. Nah.
Right. Let me. Well, I was just going to say to Deke that I have tasted Cuban cigars that they were grown with Cuban seeds in another part of the world. Like
good?
Yeah, like the Honduras.
I'm not a cigar smoker. I have smoked them, but it was years ago, and I'm not a cigar smoker. So I was just kind of wondering, what brands are out there.
Oh, Rocky Patel, Victor St. Clair. I mean, it's so many. I mean, CAO. Let's see. Casa de Garcia. Jay-Z smokes those. I found that out not too long ago.
I forgot he smoked cigars.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on and on, man. I can tell you, like Gurkha. I mean, there's so many. There's premium brands, and there's a lot, and they're from companies that they call them boutique brands, But the big brands are like Cohiba. Cohiba is the one, really. Cohiba and the Davidoff cigars. Those two really are the one and two. They're the most expensive, the most well known. And really, once you get up in that level, you really should. To me, I mean, you should be making $100,000 a year if you're gonna smoke those kind of cigars, because that's how much they cost. I mean, and you can't buy them single unless you go to a brick and mortar cigar shop. But I get mine through the mail from this place called Cigar International, and also Cigar.com. Mine's normally sent to me because they're cheap that way.
Yeah, I was going to say you must belong to like a membership club or something.
Yeah.
So obviously, let me ask you. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it can be a very, very expensive hobby. Yeah.
Do you have a humidifier?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I have two, actually. I have two. I have one that holds 50, and I have another one that holds 100. But I think I might get one that holds 300 at some point, though.
So you really into it then? Yeah, cool, man. Cool.
Oh yeah. I'm into helping anybody who wants to start. I give people advice on how to season their humidor, what kind of humidification device to use. The people who are beginning to start now.
Do a video on that, Terry.
I thought about it. Yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, I could. I thought about it because
you should, because I'm telling you, we get a lot of hits from cigar smokers.
Yeah, I just might. I might. It's I'm pretty well guarded. of them. But yeah, I'll definitely seriously consider that. Absolutely. But
just to educate some folk.
yeah, absolutely. But it depends.
I'm getting educated just right now off listening to what Terry's saying about cigars. I'm being educated on them.
I know.
Oh,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. He should do a video, and then
I'll consider it. I mean, it depends on your palate. See, I mean, you don't start out heavy. You start out, mild to see. There's certain cigars that you should, a person who just want to try to see if they might like it. Don't even buy a humidor yet to see if you like it. And then at that point, if that person wants to, after they find out where their palate is, mine was a little on the medium full side when I started. I kind of jumped from the real mellow kind because I wanted to taste some flavor. You know what I mean? But once I did that, then I went ahead and I got the first humidor that held 50. It's got the glass top on it, and then I got the bigger one that held 100. After that, like maybe 3 months later, because I wanted more. So yeah.
So are those the same ones they have in the stores, the humidors?
Yeah.
Like when you go into a cigar? Okay, yeah.
Well, I purchased mine through a catalog, Cigar International, and so they're cheaper. Everything's cheaper. Same stuff though that you'll get in a brick and mortar, but you're going to pay at least 40 or 50% more when you walk in for it. So you can get it like this 50 capacity one only cost me $30. I bought it with 10 cigars, a sampler of 10 cigars. So everything was like $50. You know what I mean? Now that right there, just that I said, would probably cost about 130, 140 bucks anywhere else like that.
Yeah.
So you can buy this. Yeah, you can buy the same stuff. And it's just as durable and just as as much quality that you get walking through the door. Of course, you can also go to places on the internet. In fact, you can go to Walmart. You go to Walmart.com. You can buy humidors and things from them too. Yeah,
because they don't sell it in a store.
No, exactly.
Okay, so with the humidors, they keep the cigars fresh, right? How long?
Yeah.
How long would they stay fresh in the humidor?
They'll stay fresh as long as you keep them in there. As long as the humidification is maintained at a certain level. Normally, from anywhere from 65 degrees humidity to like 70, 72. Now, depending on where you are geographically, that's plus or minus 2 to 3 degrees either way, because I find in the summer I need them a little cooler, and then in the wintertime I want it to go a little higher. So for me, and that's what happens because it's a lot of factors in terms of the atmosphere that you're in. If you got the heater on, or if it's cold outside. Now it's getting to be wintertime, so the needle is going to move a little bit. And plus, inside I have a digital sort of indicator as well, because the digital ones are obviously more accurate than the one that's on the outside that you see. That's the one on the outside is good, but it's probably skewed about 3 to 4 degrees because it's cheaply made, even though they look very good on the outside. But they're cheaply made, so you definitely, person who starts with the humidor after they season it, of course, you definitely want to get the digital hydrometer, and then of course when you go to your humidification devices, there's different kinds that you get. There's one called I got this thing right in front of me. It's called the Bovita pack, and it actually has the temperature on the pack, and you just put it in. And it keeps your cigars fresh. It regulates the not only humidity, but it keeps out the moisture, so they don't get too moist and they don't get too dry. So after like a week, you get a shipment in. How I do it, I get a shipment in, put it in my humidor, and I don't smoke them for. Now the other ones I have, I can smoke, but the new ones, I let them stay in there like a week. You know, I don't mess with them. They just came off the truck, ROTT. So then you know I rotate them like that. So some.
So after you store them, how long do you normally take before you would pull one out to smoke it?
About a week if you have a shipment coming, you have like, let's say you got like 20 coming in, you don't want to mess with any of those. You let them stay in there like 7 days. Let them humidify, let them get used to the atmosphere. And of course, you got the other ones in there. It's probably older. Just smoke those.
Right.
Yeah, but normally a week, yeah. A lot of people want tear, especially if there's something that they want, they tear into them right away. You shouldn't do that because you cheat yourself out of the experience. Some of the best tastes that you get, the notes that you get on your tongue, they're better if they're aged a little bit, And that's some that I've had in there for a year, just haven't touched yet, And it's about 20% greater flavor experience the longer that you let them age, depending on the cigar. I like full body cigars, medium to full body. I don't have any of the mild stuff. It's good, but you can't taste anything. Everything I have is heavy. So if somebody wants to start, I can't give them none of mine because it's probably a little bit too. I know for a fact it's just too strong for them. They wouldn't like the experience.
So you suggest starting off with the milds and then working your way up.
Yeah, because everybody has a different palate, a different tolerance. So you definitely, those people who just want to know about it and might be thinking about starting it. You want to start somewhere where you can handle it, just to see before you do anything. You don't want to buy none of this stuff until you know. And then if that person want to start, then you start buying the humidor and the humidification device, and then you season it and all that. I think it's sexy when I see cigars.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. That's what I want to ask you. Seasoning. What does that mean, seasoning?
You basically coat the inside, the wood, the cedar wood, with distilled water or propylene glycol, which is another solution. And what that does is actually seasons the wood and actually maintains the humidification from the wood as well. So with the wood, it's in there, the cedar wood and the humidification device, that in tandem helps maintain a optimal humidification inside the actually environment of the humidifier. I mean the humidor. So that tends to, and I do mine like every. Well, I haven't did it in about a year. I probably need to do it again. But if you do it right the first time, your humidor will stay seasoned unless you take it out of use. But
okay.
And the procedure for that is just you make sure you have a distilled water. Only costs about 99 cents. You go somewhere and get it. Anything, you can go to Dollar Tree or whatever. A 99-cent store out here in California anyway. And you have to have a clean sponge. And you also want a plastic bag, kind of sandwich bag. And you just dip, you submerge the sponge in the distilled water or propylene glycol. And you don't want to mix it two. You either use one or the other. And you just, rinse it out to where it's not too dry, it's still moist. And you start sort of dabbing it down in the grain where, with the grain, the direction of the grain on the inside. And you do that and you make sure it's moist. You do that a couple of times. And you put a plastic, you want to put a plastic bag that'll hold that, the sponge that you're using. But that's also going to help humidify the inside. And you close the top for about 3 days, 3 to 7 days. And what and what will happen is the hydrometer will start to move, and it'll give you an optimal temperature at that point. But when it stops, normally it's going to stop anywhere between 68 degrees and 72 degrees. Once it stops right there, then you can go ahead and put your cigars in, and you're good. That's all you need to do.
And how often do you do that? Is it just once or?
Yeah. Some people do it more. It depends. I've only had to do it once. Mine's holding pretty good. By the actual wood is holding the humidification pretty good in there. Also, there's humidification devices. I told you about the Boveda packs. They also have beads that you can get. Certain other devices that do the same thing. But the Boveda packs are the best because they already have the actual humidification inside these things. They're little squares, little brown squares with the actual temperature numbers on them. You just throw them in. You can do it that way, and then of course with your digital hygrometer inside as well, they'll give you a more accurate reading of your humidification. But normally you just do it one time. Some people, they may feel a little more conscientious, maybe even zealous. They might do it twice a year. I've only had to do mine once. I do check it from time to time. I'll take out my cigars and I'll look in there. But as long as my temperature is where it should be, then obviously I know that it's holding. But some people do. Some people, it just depends on who you are. I mean, it wouldn't hurt it if you did. But, my thing is, I would know I would need if my temperature got too high, the humidification got too high or got too low. So what's going on there is it's probably, it would be drying out my cigar. So yeah, I would reseason it at that point. But I haven't had to do it. So I've going on 2 years now. So
Do you have to be careful with like air conditioning or heating, during the winter?
I'm sorry, Dig. You kind of garbled there. I don't know what
like
happened
during the summer, and you turn your air conditioning on. Does that affect it?
Yeah, it's still doing it now. Hold on. I don't know what's going on here.
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead,
During the summer, during the summer, when you turn the air conditioning on, does that affect it? The temperature of the humidifier or the humidifier?
Oh man, I'm sorry, Dick. It happened as soon as you started talking, man. You started drowning you out.
Coming up. One second, guys. Hey, 1SP.
Hey there.
How you doing?
Hey, brother.
Hi there.
Hey,
Look at DOD.
What's going on, brother?
DOD is here.
What's going on, man?
DOD
What's going on, man?
Look at DOD. That's my boy DOD right there. I love DOD, man.
Yeah, we had fun the other day on that live stream, man. That was some good talk there, man.
I love DOD, man. I love DOD. Boy, he passionate about how he feel, boy. I love DOD, man. I love DOD.
How you doing?
Yeah, DOD. Oh, you talking to me? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm blessed.
Good.
I'm blessed. We're really talking about the holiday that's coming up, Thanksgiving. How it's really, the actual like day that Native Americans were actually captured and they were deceived and all of that and Africans, they had deceived the Africans to come over here, and a lot of stuff had go on, and stuff like that. It was a lot of deception going on, for this Thanksgiving, the initial Thanksgiving, and everything. So, DOD was passionate why he was not going to celebrate it, why he's not going to celebrate Christmas, why he's not going to celebrate all of that, and he explained to what was that story of motherhood? That's where we were. He explained to her that if you're gonna be a so-called Christian, why don't you study Christianity instead of just believe Christianity? Why don't you study it? no one, if you don't have the money to go to a seminary, and this is what he said, if you don't have the money to go to a seminary, then study for yourself.
Hmm.
You know, so
Absolutely.
and then she's gonna come out. Eventually, she came out and said that, you know what, I don't believe in everything the church tell me, you know, and everything. Then why you celebrating Thanksgiving? You know, why you celebrating Christmas? And you know, she was like, well, the community gonna look down on me. Forget what the community think. You trying to serve God.
And
That's
it
what.
really means different things for different people.
But one
Well,
SP, he was over there. He was educating. He was educating the masses over there.
Yeah.
yeah. Then we
One
had
one
this
SP, you know
other.
what he's talking about.
We had this other chick over there that was like, oh, well, you know, if you break tradition, or why are people still gonna have broken homes and all that? She was talking about all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what she was talking about.
She was
I
talking
think
That
she
about
was
all this
trolling.
other
that
stuff.
doesn't even make
I think she
sense.
was trolling. She was trolling. She
That
had to be
doesn't even
Well,
trolling.
make sense.
I told her, hit me up on Instagram or something. Hit me up. Hit me up offline. I got a website coming out. Hit me up on the website or something. You know, hit me up on WhatsApp or something, Facebook, Twitter, you know, something like that. You know, you don't have to do this like right here on this platform. If you're gonna ask, you know, and she asking good questions about, you know, broken homes and all of that, and she asked me, if people stop celebrating Thanksgiving and people stop celebrating Christmas, you know, are they gonna be able to get out of broken homes and bring their families back together? You know, I said this much: if they only celebrate Christmas or they only celebrate Thanksgiving once a year when the season of giving, you know, if you really believe that Christmas is the season of giving, why not give year round instead of
Exactly.
waiting to the end of the year? You know, and that's why I told my relatives that believe that Christmas is an actual holiday for giving. Why not do it year round? Why wait till the end of the year to do it?
It's
You know,
commercialized.
why wait till the end of the year to do it? Why wait to, well, it was commercialized from the beginning.
Exactly. It's
Be-
commercialized.
be-
It has nothing to do, not with people. It has nothing to do with Jesus. Not really.
Well, it was no, not at all, not at all. We DOD and I actually got into that. You know, we actually got into that. And I told story of motherhood. If you read Luke, chapter 2, verse 7 and 8, verses 7 and 8, it tells you, you know, around the time when Jesus was born, Yeshua was born.
Yeah.
Yeshua was born in the spring, not the winter. You know, it say,
Born
and then she
born
get
born in the spring and died in the spring.
yes, yes. It say, and then she gave birth to a newborn boy in a manger because there were no ends available. And the key part is verse 8. And shepherds around them at night were tending to their flock. You know, so shepherds don't tend to their flock, just because, they hear, them sick, they don't tend to them because they're sick at night. They tend to them at day because they're sick at night. So what I said was that the only reason why they would go out there is because they were giving birth. And the only time that sheep give birth is once a year. They don't give birth year round. And this time that they give birth is in lamb season. Lamb season only happened in the spring.
Hmm.
So that's how you know when Yeshua was born. He was born in the spring, not the winter. And
Well,
she's like, what? And
most
then the
people
other,
who are educated know, and I've said it multiple times on my live streams. I'm like, or if you know about, you know the Lord, then you know that he wasn't even born in December. That's actually a pagan holiday that we're celebrating. That they gave gifts, you know.
well, okay, the whole gift giving thing. I can say like this: I give gifts year round to my family.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I
I'm just talking about the whole thing about exchanging gifts and everything. That's from some pagan tradition.
well, okay. So you know the word Christ, right? The word Christ itself.
Mhm.
doesn't have anything to do with Yeshua. You know that
Oh yeah,
it came from people that worship pagan gods. So
yeah.
so
It's what the Romans called him. They called him
the
the Christ.
the Romans call every statue that they worship, Christ. They call every piece of gold that they worship Christ. They call every graven image in wood
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Christ.
saying. I'm like they put the Christ on it. That's where the
So
Christ came in because the Christ didn't come from the early Christians.
so in order, yes, you're right. So anybody that follow these pagan gods were called what?
I don't know.
Christians. They were called Christians. If the pagan god was called Christ, let's say a statue of Julius Caesar. If they worship a statue of Julius Caesar, then they were called a Christian. If they worship the the wooden image of the sun god, then they were called a Christian. And the only way they could get pagans into the church is
Was
by calling all of
exactly by
them.
changing by calling everybody that so that everybody got lumped into that and that's how they were able to introduce all the paganism into the church.
And that's how you got Christians everywhere because
Yep.
of that one little mindset, right there.
That's
And that's how
that's
you got
why that's
Christians.
why I call myself a follower of Christ,
Well,
of
well,
Jesus, a follower of Jesus, a follower of Yeshua.
yeah. So when you, and this what DOD and I were talking about. If you call yourself a actual Christian, then you got to find out. You got to find out why are you a Christian? What does the word Christian mean? And when you get a definition of the word Christian, then you would know exactly what you really. You'll know that you are not really a Christian. You know, everyone that looks beyond that, is a part of the lost tribe of Israel, especially African Americans, Native
Mhm.
Americans, and any people of color is a part of the lost tribe of Israel. We were shipped from, we were moved out of exiled out of Israel, and we were pushed southward to, we talked about this Africa, Saudi Arabia and all those places, all the way down to India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and all the way down to India. Like if you ever find out where the disciples were killed, they were killed in Africa, they were killed in India, they were crucified in all those places, except for Peter, and stuff. Peter wasn't killed there, but if you find out where Philip was killed in Saudi Arabia. Thomas was killed in India, and you will find out that Luke was killed in Pakistan. They were all crucified all the way down south. So if they're crucified down there, then you can know that the Western Hemisphere, Africa, is where they took the slaves from. If they took the slaves from there and brought them all over the world, then guess what? Some of those people are actually from the lost tribe of Israel.
Well, one of the things that I know just from having grown up in the Catholic Church is that the Catholic Church fictitiously makes Peter the first pope of the Catholic Church, but Peter never had anything to do with the Church of Rome.
Yeah, yeah. Posthumously, he was the first pope.
I know he
Posthumously.
had nothing to do with the Church of Rome. Nothing.
Well, what I found interesting is how one SP explained Hebrews and where they originally Hebrews, and where these fake Hebrews came from.
Well, yeah, because the original Hebrews, that's what they called, in the time of Moses. And they still were called they still were called, Hebrew during the time of Jesus. Because Jesus spoke Aramaic and he spoke Hebrew.
But where did these Jews that call themselves Jews today, where did they come from?
Oh, that was
Yeah,
that's
discussion about
I
that.
think you missed that conversation. That was a couple of days ago. They're from they're descendants of of the Khazars who converted to Judaism. Who converted to Judaism?
It's a fact, historical fact, but it's not widely discussed, and a lot of people really don't know that. Really, to be honest with you. Yes, brother. They're not the people who came out of Egypt led by Moses. They want you to think that, though.
Nope.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about DC and everyone on here were talking about that. It was like 26 people on here that
We had a
night.
long conversation about
And
this, yeah,
people
a couple
on
of
here.
nights ago.
I mean, you had
Yeah. What was that?
you had Latinos here, you had Filipinos here, you had all of them here.
I wasn't there. Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we had my friend from the UK, because he even brought up the Balfour treaty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
that.
So it was a lot of things that were going on. And
Yeah, that one still bothers me, because it's like the biggest deception.
Yeah.
The biggest deception is that, people pray to a Roman, that has nothing to do with, what Yeshua, the teachings of Yeshua, the promised Messiah of Israel. People pray to that Roman, image. People, like actually like believe in that Roman image when
Don't
you
look nothing
got
like them. Doesn't look.
when you got an entire different person to pray to. You got Yeshua HaMashiach, the original name, the original image of him is darker than what they usually pray to. That the hair texture is different. Everything is different. The eye color is different.
No blue
everything,
eyes. Definitely not blue eyes.
everything is different. And for us to actually keep calling him Jesus, or the more we keep calling him Jesus and the more we identify ourselves as Christian, the further we're pushing away from the actual truth. And that's something that my family had a long time accepted. That's something that my entire family, when I first started my journey of actually finding out everything, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how I said I started, right, DOD? I said one day my son asked me, my 12-year-old son, I think he was 6 at the time, asked me, okay, Daddy, so Santa Claus does not exist, but St. Nicholas exists. I was like, yeah, St. Nicholas, yeah, did exist. But he was like, so why do we celebrate Christmas? I wanted to tell him that's the birthday of, Jesus, right? But I couldn't find any proof. That was I can find proof. My son wants me to prove everything. So, at the time he was very inquisitive, and stuff. He's still making good grades. He in gifted classes now. But they're making good grades. He was in a transition from not having me around to having me around a lot. So, because I was in the military. Now he knows that, if he gonna celebrate, Yeshua, birthday, to celebrate it, around the time when he died. If you're gonna celebrate, his birth, celebrate around the time he died. So a lot of things that he now, he knows, we went into studying all of this together, and we found out all of this together. So, and one day he asked me, not too long ago, so if I don't identify myself as a Christian, then what am I? What am I? You're a follower of Yeshua HaMashiach. He's like, well, I'm not. I can't be Jewish because they all white. I can't be Messianic Jewish because they all white. But Messianic Jewish is the only ones that believe that Yeshua HaMashiach is the same. I said, you know what? I say this much. Just know that you follow Yeshua. All right, just know that much.
Yeah, I know some Messianic Jews, but they still follow the the Old Testament, feasts and everything. And to me, it's like, so you are practicing, feast days and everything that have historical meaning to another people, and your ancestors converted to the faith that this historical people had. It's just like, when you start thinking about it, it starts just making your head spin.
What I honestly believe is that if Yeshua celebrated, the only thing that Yeshua celebrated um in the winter was Hanukkah, you know. And Mark had mentioned that he had lit a candle for the feast of dedication. And the feast of dedication, if you put it in Hebrew or say Hanukkah in Hebrew, it becomes the feast of dedication. So if Yeshua himself celebrated, then I don't see any problem for a so-called Christian to celebrate it. If they had the whole week of Passover, to celebrate the Passover, and we supposed to call ourselves Christians, then I don't see anything wrong with a Christian celebrating the Passover. Think about it. Like Yeshua, if you want to be just like Yeshua, you're gonna have to go through all those
Well,
transitions
that would be
that he
what the
went through.
Messianic. That's what the Messianic Jews do. They go through
That's
all of that.
You're gonna have to go through the feast of unleavened, the days of unleavened bread, the feast of trumpets. The women don't have to do the feast of trumpets. It's the men that does the
Hmm.
feast of trumpets. But it's a lot of them, like the men do. The women stay home, or if you got a job, you work as usual. But the men have to observe most of those holidays because God talked to the men, to lead, the home and everything. So a lot of them, the men observe, and the men come home after, doing all of these feasts and everything. They come home and then they address, what happened to their families. So a lot of times the women don't have to be, in the synagogue or in the church as much, or the temple as much. The men have to, but there's still the Sabbath um observation. There's still the Sabbath observation. So, and I said this: if Yeshua did the Last Supper, right? He did the Last Supper, and most of the time in a Christian mindset, the Last Supper is a communion, right? It's a communion. It's basically that final meal of his blood and of his body, But what it really signifies the actual Passover, the actual meal for the Passover, because they're observing the Passover, and because he knew he was going to get arrested, they all those other days to eat it. So he observed it before that time had come. But usually, he would have observed the entire Passover. Hello.
I think 1SP, you're going in and out. Yeah, breaking up. Yeah, he died. He'll probably come back.
Well,
Yeah, he'll come back.
let me say real quick, unless there's any other questions about cigars and humidor, we definitely move on to something else other than what he was talking about as well. I know we were in the middle of that when he came up.
Yeah, go. Yeah, you go on it. You can go back to what because I know he kind of came into the middle of that. He'll probably be back. So go ahead and finish with that.
Well, I basically had was talking about in terms of the different humidification devices on the inside. You have the Bovita packs, of course, that's preset with the actual humidification number that's on it, anywhere from like 65. You can get the one 67, 69, go all the way up to they actually go 72, but they actually go higher than that because some of the higher ones, I guess you got one that would look like it's like 80, 84 degrees, but that's the kind that you would actually season it with. You can actually season it with a Bovita pack without the distilled water. You can do that way. It takes a little longer. I also use humidification beads. And all you do is submerge them into distilled water for about 15 minutes. Some you can also just run it under tap water, but I wouldn't recommend tap water though, because you don't want anything like that affecting the inside of your cedar, inside the humidor atmosphere itself, the environment. So
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So with the different cigars, is that the reason why you have to have more than one humidor because of the different temperatures for the cigars?
no,
You
no,
see what I'm saying?
I just need more room. Simply, just more room, brother. That's it. No.
Okay, so let's say one cigar, the temperature is supposed to be between 68 and 72. Is there any cigars that has to be like 72 and above that has to be kept separate?
Not at all.
Okay.
No. They can all be in the same environment. Within that's the parameters of all of them actually. All of them, all sizes and shapes. Absolutely. Yeah, you can have them all in the same environment. Some people might be a little anal, but it's no need for that. You know,
Okay.
you can have short ones in there. You can have the fat ones in there. You can have the big, the ones they call Churchills, like 7 inches. You can have that in there. Between those, between 67 and 72. 65 and 72. But again, depending on where you're, 65 degrees and 72 degrees in your humidor. Between that, either if it's any of them, any combination, any amount in terms of your capacity. I have like I say, I have one that holds 100, and the other one that holds 50. So I can put, that particular capacity, and as long as they maintain anywhere in that particular parameter, they're fine. No problem.
Okay, so the different humidors that you have, it's not because of temperature, it's just capacity.
No. The humidification actually sets the actual the humidification degrees, but I can put 101, 100 cigars in one. I can fill it up, and then 50 in another, and it's
right. That's what I was saying. Right.
Yeah,
so the temperature is
no,
it's
different sizes. That's all.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, just different size. Some are bigger than others. One, you have some that are like 25. I think the lowest one's 25. Then you got other humidors that are cylindrical, in shape. They hold certain amounts. It's just the amounts. That's all. That's
right.
Just some people want, because I thought 50 would be cool, but then once I got it, I heard that whatever you plan for, you should double it. I said, man, because it just wasn't enough. Like, all right, let me get another one. Let me get one that holds double that, which is what I should have got the first time, but I didn't know until after I got the smaller one. Now, the smaller one had a sampler, 10, as I said earlier, it had 10 cigars in it, and it was a deal. It was like $50 for all of that. Normally it would cost a lot, so I got that. That was my starter, but I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just went ahead and got a separate one, one that's a little bigger. But I'm gonna get
with the samplers. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. You can ask. I'm sorry.
I could say with the samplers, were they all the same cigars or were they different?
Different, brother. Yeah, different.
Okay.
That's normally what a sampler is, but you can also get them in the same brand. You can get them mixed up. Depends on what your desire is. You can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can buy them in a bundle. You buy one at a time. Whatever. Yeah. Now I find that the best deals are the samplers. Some of the samplers, and some of them mixed a little bit. You can choose depending on what it is. You might be able to get, like, let's say, 15 for $45, which is cheap. You might be able to get 20 for 60, very, very cheap. You walk into a brick and mortar cigar shop, it's gonna cost you much more than that, probably double.
Okay.
Yeah. So So I mean, you can buy a box. Box can be 10, depending on what it is, or it can be 20, depending on what it normally like 20, in a box. And you won't get the cigar box. They'll just send them to you bundled in a shipping box. You won't get the actual cigar box that you see in the actual cigar shop. But when you get them in the mail, like I do, they're in a bundle and they're packed in. Normally like I get it UPS too. Yeah, so
That's good, man.
yeah. So anyway, all right, that's it. Unless you got another question, that's all I had to say on that. We definitely go back to the Jews if y'all want to talk about that. We can put some more.
Let me ask one last question. Do you just do you normally smoke them in home or outside or just anywhere wherever you're at? You just smoke them.
No, just outside the house. Outside, but yeah, outside the house. But they also have cigar. They're like smoke filters, huge smoke filters that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
You put one in your house, and you can actually smoke it in there. No one else would be bothered. No one else would visit you or anything. I don't have one of those though. I don't have. So I love going outside. I have no problem with that. It's getting cold, so.
I thought you might have like a smoking room, somewhere. You just go and sit and read a book or something, or watch TV and smoke.
Yeah, no, I'll do it outside on the porch or in the back. I'll y'all do it when it's warm. I'll go out there. It's getting cold now, so what I'll do now is I'll have to do it in the daytime because at night it's just, unless I got my gloves on, it gets ridiculous sometimes in the winter trying to enjoy a cigar when it's cold, when it's like 30 degrees. It's kind of you gotta have some coffee out there with you, and so I kind of tapered down my consumption in the winter months.
That's cool, Terry. You know a lot, considering that you still think you're a novice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I've only been doing it. Well, it's 2 years. It'll be 2 years in January. So yeah, I mean, but again, I met guys who admit that I don't see. I can't do 5 or 6 a day. I just don't, because it takes so long to smoke them. I just don't. I mean, that's a lot. It's okay. So you figure you got to go to work at least 8 hours. And if you got kids or whatever, you got to raise them. Whatever. You got to have a social life. I mean, when do you smoke 6 cigars in a day? I can't conceive that. So
what got you into it, to smoking cigars?
What started
you?
Deke, bro, to be honest with you, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I don't do very much of anything social. So as a result, I probably needed something to replace that a little bit, and I think I'm suspecting, I'm not sure, I'm suspecting that might have something to do with it, because it just all of a sudden I just wanted to try one, and I thought it was cool. It was cool, and then once I understood how to smoke it, you don't inhale, you just taste the flavonoids and on your taste buds.
Right.
You can get some, once you understand where your palate is, you will get some unbelievable taste notes. You're like, man, how am I tasting cocoa? How is this tasting like it's floral? Orange? Nuts? What is, and it gets intriguing after a while. It's like, damn, and that's kind of what it was. I guess I got a hold to a cigar that was very, very flavorful. And the cigar I got a hold to was called Diesel. It's another good cigar. And I'm not lying. This thing, on my tongue, it tastes like I was tasting like floral, like flowers and cherry. I'm like, the hell, this is tobacco. So I got to understand, okay, where is this stuff coming from? So I find out that, Cuba, the Honduras, South America is a primary spots, but they also grow even the United States they grow certain cigars. But those are the places outside of, so I smoke a lot of Honduran cigars from the Hondurans. I don't smoke anything from Cuba, but I do smoke things Cuban seeds, but grown in other places, like South America. So I get a little bit of it, but not the actual Cuba. I haven't had actual something from Havana. So I think it was it just intrigued me, that taste that was coming through on my tongue. Pepper, salt, it's crazy. Yeah, you get all that. Cocoa, licorice. I'm like, what? It's tobacco. How the hell you get that kind of stuff? And so that's what I was wondering. And it's just where it's grown, how it's aged. You understand? So that had a lot to do with what intrigued me. And so I said, man, I got to get a humidor. I got to keep at least 20 or 30 on me before I got to 50. The humidor capacity, the first one. So I said, man, all right, check this out. So I just started filling up my first humidor, and it was just every now and then. It wasn't, you don't smoke them like cigarettes or nothing like that. You don't inhale them. And yeah, and they're not habit forming at all. They're not habit forming. They don't have any. It's two different. I don't smoke cigarettes, but there are two different kinds of experience here going on. There's no carcinogens in there, no cancer causing agents, so you don't have to worry about that. You do have some nicotine in others, but if you're doing in moderation, you're not gonna die of lung cancer doing this kind of stuff, as far as I'm concerned. But however, just like anything else, if you do it too much, I'm sure it would at some point. If you inhale it, yes, some probably will happen to you. But if you inhale it, you're gonna cough like mad, because it's not supposed to be in your lungs at all. It's very, very hard to smoke, so you just keep it, on your tongue. But I'm telling you, man, I mean, it's just the texture of the wrapper itself has a lot to do with it. The filler that's inside, and then there's a binder. So it's like 3 different elements of a cigar. You know what I mean? And so depending on how they wrap it, it may start out very mellow, get to the middle, it might get medium, and when it gets to the last inch or two, man, that thing might hit the ceiling, man, in terms of its power, its strength. So you don't know what you get until you get it, and then you're like, man, this is cool. So that all of a sudden, I became somebody who likes cigars, man. I don't have any vices. I don't drink hard liquor. I do drink a little wine, but I don't drink like the hard stuff. I don't. I don't smoke weed, although I know it's medicinal for some. And so I guess you can say I don't even call it a vice, really, because I wouldn't even call it a vice. I guess it's a hobby. I guess I finally got a hobby.
It's something you like to do.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I try, and I'm kind of into the community a little bit. I don't go to the lounges like I probably would normally, but you hook up with people online who do it, and everything. Because what I noticed, depending on your geographical location, your humidifier works a little different because of the weather, the actual atmosphere that you're actually in. So the parameter of where your hydrometer could be might be a little higher in some places, and maybe even a little lower in other places. Now
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Or as I'm in Northern California, so for me it's and normally optimal is in between 65 and 72. Some people might be more on the higher side depending on where they are, in the world.
Yeah. I got a question for you and a comment.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The question is, could it be that they're smoking these 5 cigars a day because of the burn?
Possible. Yeah. Possible. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the comment is, well, I'll let you finish that. I'll let you finish that answer, because it's like you still had some more you wanted to say about that.
Oh no. I mean that was basically it. As far as I was just giving why I got started and how I got started and my thought process during the whole time, that particular time frame for me,
Right.
because I like I say, I just picked up one day. I just picked up one, and it was a nice one. It was a dark, Maduro kind. And it was strong, and it actually took me like 3 days. Took me like 3 days to smoke it at first. Man, this thing, whoo! It was, it. Sometimes, if you get one that's real strong, you have to back it up with some sugar, man. You got the coffee or something, orange juice or something. At one time, I started shaking. It was strong, man. I mean, I had just one strain. It's called Camacho Triple Maduro, and the wrapper, binder, and the filler, all the Maduro, the more stronger leaves, in terms of rolling a cigar, hand rolling, and man, I was shaking. I got like through a third of it. I had to come back in and get some coffee, man, just to try to calm myself down, So, yeah, man. I mean, because man, if you're just not used to it, and like I say, I got a strong one early on. I like it. I smoke that now on a regular basis. Back then, a year ago, oh, man, that one was it's triple Maduro, and that's the strongest, one of the strongest ones out there.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I said I had a comment, but I guess it's a question. Did you notice? And I'm not being funny. Did you notice how when 1SP came up, how Diva turned her camera on and started fixing her hair and all that? And as soon as the brother left, she turned the camera off.
Yeah,
I wonder what's that all about. Come on, Diva, what's that about?
Excuse me.
She turned her camera on, started fixing her hair.
Over here, when there's three of us on here, and I had turned it on for you two guys. He just happened to come up after I turned it on.
And I guess you happened to turn it off when you left too.
I turned it off. I turned it off because I left for a second to go get some more water.
Okay, people. Okay.
And
that's funny though. Yeah. I know.
I can lay down.
Glance down. I glanced. I saw she's on camera. Glanced again. I'm like, she's off camera. And he was gone. I'm like, okay.
Y'all tripping up here.
It's all good though.
I'm gonna go.
I ain't never been on camera, so
I'm gonna go back to off camera. I just came on camera, so I'm still here.
Oh, Dave, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
It's all good. Even if that was the case, it's all good, But so yeah, man. I mean, that's but I didn't know how
Terry,
cool
the rate of burn, Terry. Do you know the different rates for per cigar per brand? I guess what it is.
I don't. I don't know. I really don't. I really don't because I don't know if there's any kind of aggregate way to figure that out unless you have a certain a puff in terms of how much smoke you're getting into your mouth and on your tongue. I know that I normally anything that's 5 inches for me, and that's a Toro size. That's what it's called. It's gonna take me 2 hours. That's not the biggest one. It's like the medium one, like one in the middle. It's gonna take me about 2 hours. So my puffs, I can keep it lit. I can light it one time and keep it lit the whole way. But I probably, I guess, okay, let me go back. I do know that I saw on one tutorial on YouTube, this one aficionado was talking about, you should take a puff every 30 seconds. So I guess depending on how long it is, that might be getting to what that is, but no one has ever said that. So I'm not sure. That's a good.
I'm sure. I'm sure somebody knows it though. It's probably out there somewhere. What the Apple did.
And does that do you have to take in consideration the tightness of the wrap?
Yes, at times.
Is it?
Yes, absolutely. That's the draw. Yes, absolutely. The tighter it is, I find the tighter it is, the more effort it is to get the plume of smoke that you want to puff out. Yeah, it might take a little longer, and then it might even go out a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'd say I've had some tight ones. If the filler and binder is real tight, the draw is going to be tight. It's just more of an effort to actually consume it, and it might take even longer. And definitely, you may chances are, you may have to relight it a couple times on the way.
And how far down do you smoke it?
I would say I can get down to an inch, half inch to my. I guess if my lips can feel the heat, that's probably enough.
So that's when you start. Okay.
So that's less than an inch, I'm sure, when it gets to that point. I can, Now, I would say this: not every cigar, when it gets down to that level, for some reason, some cigars just don't taste good anymore, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the burn has gone sort of through the unsmoked tobacco at that point, and it just may not be good. Not all of them though. Some all the way good down to the last puff when you can't do it no more. You gotta get a little roach and hold it. I've done that, but normally, a little less than an inch, and I'll let it go out on its own. It's cool. Just you don't put it out like a cigarette. You just let it die on its own. That's the coolest way to let it go. Then you throw it away.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good information.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Let's get back on sister though.
So now y'all ready to talk about me again, huh?
I noticed that, Joe. I was like, look at Diva. She's gonna turn her camera on when SP come up.
That tickled me.
Fixing her hair, puffing it out. And I said, okay, go ahead on, sister. Go ahead on.
Oh, tripping.
But were we gonna get on the Jews again, or were we done with that? Is that?
I think we can have a conversation about it.
Right. I mean, I don't know, what we haven't covered really, but I will say though that things that because we ran out of time. When they started going into Palestine, really after the Zionist movement, which was actually political, inspired by Theodore Herzl in 1897, that's really when they started encroaching at that particular point. They were actually illegally sneaking into Palestine, illegally taking up space at that time, but they weren't recognized as a group yet. They had not really formally attached themselves to British imperialism at that particular time yet. That came a little later. But, that really came at the end of World War I. I mentioned the Treaty of Versailles in terms of what the Ottoman Turks had to give up. And at that point, in 1920, what the British did, they put Palestine under a British mandate. You probably know about that. But the Balfour Declaration, as you know, came out in 1917. But
Yep.
They used Jews, but really it was talking about the Zionists. The Zionists actually set that up, the World Zionist Organization. But obviously the Cold War was Jews. Now, how are you going to give somebody else another state to some other people without consulting these people who actually already inhabit their land? That's the kind of...
That was the craziest thing. I'm like, You don't own the land. How can you take land from people who rightfully own it?
Right, right. But I think it shows you not only the diabolical posture of these people, but they understood the far-reaching effects of such a move. Of that, it was very, very strategic, because they were obviously at some point they knew they were going into some technology. You know, they saw what the Nazis had in terms of, you know, they actually had, obviously, I think we know they had superior equipment, conventional armaments. They saw that. They saw at the end of World War II that the growing America and the West saw that the growing threat was the Soviet Union, as we saw through the Cold War. And so I think they understood that very, very seriously, but strategically, to put them there to stabilize that area amongst all them Arabs, to stir up a hornet's nest, but actually back them in terms of economically and militarily. I mean, we know right now they have the atomic bomb, and they're allowed, but no one else over there in that area is allowed to have it. So it kind of shows you right there. They're not real Jews. They're Khazar descendants, but they're treated as such. And at the same time, they get all this support, lie about their particular history at the same time, have a right of return as if they were the people that came out of Egypt at the same time, but will call you an anti-Semite for telling the truth. So you can see all these dynamics going on at once. By I want to say 1917, they were just 8% of the population in Palestine, and most of that was illegal immigration in there. They were sneaking in there, encroaching upon lands. At that particular time, the Zionist organization had 3 groups that was armed by principally the British Empire at the time. You had the Haganah, and look these up. These were Zionist gangs that were armed to the teeth. You had the Haganah, the Palmach, and the Airmen. These are the actual groups. Now, they'll tell you that was a action for liberation, but really it was a terrorist move. So that's really how they ran out almost 1 million Palestinians into other Arab states at that particular time and took land from them. That's really how they did it. But they had the backing of, you know, the British government, and to a lesser extent the United States. When I used to get into these debates with people who thought they knew what they were talking about, I say that Jesus is not your Messiah. Arthur Balfour, who wrote the Balfour Declaration, is your Messiah. He gave you Palestine. God did. And so, them not knowing that I know that the Khazar descendants, they would proceed to call me an anti-Semite. But then I would tell them, well, you're not Semitic. See, so they've been lied to, and they've been conditioned to believe, as we have seen here, that they believe that they're the actual Jews, and they're not. They're converts, yes, as you said earlier, absolutely. But to them, to have a right of return, to return where? That's not your land. I mean, they have a right of return policy that many blacks who adopted Judaism thought that it meant them, but they're having the same problem in occupied Palestine that we have here. They're second-class citizens, and they're being told to get the hell out, go back to Africa, which is really, I think they should go back to Africa. I think they're right.
That's the light skin versus dark skin.
Yeah, the Ethiopians
over there
are being treated awful.
Yeah.
Even though they're the actual descendants, and they're treated awful.
Right. And so getting into that secular government, you know, 1948, the flag went up. British mandate was up. Their flag went up, and they've been Israel ever since, and terrorizing Palestinians, regularly since those days. And here we are.
Well, in modern times, I always know British rule whenever I see a country where you're driving on the on the wrong side of the street of the road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's when I know it's under
Right.
British rule.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the position they had such a strong position eventually. I mean, they did have most of the world carved up and controlled under British colonialism at that particular time. It was only after World War II that the United States gained a preeminent position because of the Marshall Plan that went into effect to repair those European countries that were, destroyed, almost destroyed by Nazi attacks that they experienced. And at that particular point, the United States gained their foothold as they had now. That really was the window to that. And of course, the Cold War as well. It started with the USSR, the old USSR. But I mean, it's a game of chess. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is a very strategic position for the West to go into any parts of that particular part of the world. It's very convenient for them to do so. But all it did was upset the balance and political order in the Arab world, putting those Caucasians right smack dab in the middle of those folks. I think it was an evil move, but that's the thing about power and how it's so corrupt. I mean, whose power can exceed theirs to stop them from doing what they want to do? Let me just pose this: who could stop them if it came down to the point where we all wanted to get out of here, which will never happen because most black people leave the United States. But let's just say hypothetically that, let's say 50%, 60% of us wanted to get out of here. We all had our passports, and we hitting these airports. Who's going to stop these people from stopping us from going out? What power in the world backs us?
Yeah, that's true. We don't have
nobody.
Apparently, no one.
So no one could. Right. So no one could stop what happened in Palestine, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. The oppressed people still haven't got to the point where they understand their responsibility in terms of creating their own power space on this earth. And when you look at that, pardon me.
Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
When you look at the actual system that's put in place, it kind of explains a lot, though, in terms of how imperialism works on the outside. It has to have something to exploit. It has to have colonies on the outside. As capitalism, international capitalism is imperialism, and capitalism inside. Both sides have a racist component that has a symbiotic relationship with. That's the only setup that you could, in my opinion, that it can tolerate. It's not going to tolerate any new competition because they've carved up the world already and set it in motion the way it is. The way it has been stratified right now in terms of the classes that exist and the monopoly of wealth that's at the top. We're familiar with that. You know what I mean? That's the order that they can only tolerate, which is why I think we've been perpetually on the bottom in our actual experience within the development of capitalism. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. And I'm not talking about a few blacks that make it, and you got a few millionaires here, billionaires there. But when you compare that to the collective wealth of blacks globally, it means nothing.
Right.
I mean, in terms of power, let one of those people say something wrong, which is why they don't say anything in the first place, because they know they're not gonna have that money for very long. All play ball, man.
Well,
so,
I mean,
yeah, they make.
You see what happened?
Yeah, they could buy something more.
You see what happened to Bill Cosby? I mean, not that he wasn't doing all of these things, but he was protected until he didn't want to do things the way somebody else wanted him to do things. Then what he had done was exposed.
Right. I mean, there's levels of wealth that, you know, all due respect to Bill Cosby and the rest of the PD and all these other folks, and I don't begrudge them. I would love to have their net worth. But the fact is that their net worth, they're like welfare cases to some of these people. The Rothschilds are worth multi-trillions of dollars. The
Yep.
Rothschild family alone. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you know, just to give you a example. These people control regions of the world. They see, looking from there, and hypothetically, because I'll never be there, but I can kind of empathize a little bit. They see all three branches of government as one entity for their use. That's a whole different view of what we see. You understand? I mean, they control regions of the world where multiple countries are. You know what I mean? And so, and this interlocking network of international corporations that not only interlock themselves, but all the ancillary parts of industry. So they own it all. They have a monopoly on it. People don't understand that. Africa has always been, since 1885, it's been important to the economies of the West to maintain control over it. That's why it's hard. I'm telling you, that has a lot to do with what's going on here with us. A lot of people don't understand that. They keep wanting to think that they're separate, but that's not how people who are your enemy sees you. He sees you as one entity because he controls the globe. And people don't want to understand that. Okay, they can go with this I'm here or there if they want to, but the people who are actually controlling the world from you don't see you like that. They see you as one entity, and they're controlling all of us. So I'm saying that unless and until we understand that we all have a common problem and we need a common objective, and Africa needs to be free of that control. True. That's going to free a lot of things, because all this wealth that's coming to these Western countries, it comes from Africa. So that's what I was
saying. The diamonds, the gold, oil, they're still in everything.
Right. So once Africa is free and independent, it's a whole new ball game for people of African descent on the globe. And I alluded to this the other night. Think about, hypothetically, if you had, and this is a political goal, by the way, you had all those countries that's been carved up in these little unviable economic units that are nothing really more than frontiers for Europe and the United States and other imperialist entities in there controlling puppet governments. What if they all unified into a single union? The countries as you see them now will take their place as states in a wider union. So you have all African federalist government. You understand? So now you have a joint military high command, air, land, and sea. You have an integrated economy as well. Now you have an industrialization for the first time at a high level in the, in the most modern means and of the approaches that you take in terms of science and your economic trade. Now at this particular point, you're going to see Africa not only have industries, but the production and the actual control of the marketplace would be so extreme. There would be a financial colossus. You have one. They would then speak with one voice, one entity, one president going into the United Nations. How powerful is that if that was to happen? And how would the rippling effect affect all of us? South America, Central America, the Caribbean, wherever we are, it would affect us all because it's a global system. A lot of people don't want to understand that and refuse to see it as that. We know where we are here, but we're part of a global system of what has happened to our people everywhere. I always say what happens to one African can happen to any African everywhere. Positive and negative. But you can also, it's possible to accelerate the positive. We're not even there yet. We're talking about everything here like nothing else matters. Okay. they'll still exploit Africa while you're doing it and use all the resources against you.
Yeah.
So while we try to pontificate and brag about who invented this or who invented that, and that's well and fine, but we don't have. Let's have some control over that. Then. See, the nature of an African Union would, by its very nature, it would have the resources to actually stretch its arms to the brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
And the problem is, it's hard to get more than 1 or 2 countries on the continent to work together at this point.
Did you guys see my video on the farming out in Zimbabwe? Did you see that video?
Right,
Did you watch it, Diva?
Terry, back up. I'm sorry. What did you say? What did you say, Leffert?
Did you watch the video I put out? I think it was yesterday or the day before about farming in Zimbabwe.
I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that one yet.
Yeah, how the Africans are taking back their farms.
That one I got the notification for.
Okay.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I can hear sister, but I can't hear you.
Pull it back up then.
Say that again, D.
I'm gonna drop off and come back.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because you're breaking up. But I'm just saying, you know, well, basically, sis, what I'm saying is this is something that's historic. Hasn't been seen, but it's something that even our ancestors couldn't dream of happening. I personally contend that the axis of the territories in Africa at a certain period, and I'm probably talking about 16th, 15th century, we saw, if you look at the map of Africa, you basically see a gradual unification coming along. Because see, actually, we're actually unified by culture. We might be divided by national borders that's been imposed by somebody else, but our cultural integrity comes from from the same source. So we do have a basis for unity.
Right.
But besides that particular continental, that evolutionary continental unification was interrupted by slavery and then colonialism. Well, we can go back to the Arab impact as well, but it didn't. The Arab impact, for all of its negative things that it also did, it did not change the structures though. It didn't change the organic structures that was ongoing at that time. It was the European Christian impact of slavery and colonialism. Colonialism was pretty much the decisive effect that threw Africa into foreign hands. Basically, all the resources going out of Africa, feeding these economies, these Western economies have really developed themselves off that. Meanwhile, Africa is impoverished. So this paradox occurs where Africa has it has riches, it's poverty in the midst of plenty. So all these raw resources, and that's really these particular countries were nothing more, and even to a large extent now, nothing more than frontiers for Belgium, France, Germany, Portugal, Great Britain, United States, I guess China to a lesser extent now, but the big players are Britain, Belgium, Portugal, United States. Those are the biggest players in Africa. Let no one fool you into thinking it's China. China has a very lesser extent, but these people who have been in the Africa, digging their hands and setting up their investments and their foreign currency that's been going through Africa. Africa has something like all those particular countries. They've all got their currencies flowing through Africa, leading back to the banks of their particular countries. So see, all this foreign control, foreign firms controlling the economy, and places where you might think or you might see in Africa that you never hear any economic instability. What you have in the bureaucracy, we find in the bureaucracy, you have expatriates from that particular colonizing country. Those people working inside the government. They're not going to. They would probably squash any kind of activity toward any kind of revolution, because if they, it's their own interest that they're maintaining. So in other words, if I'm in Burkina Faso and my colonizers is France, it's going to be French in that particular, somewhere in that bureaucracy. You see my point?
Yeah.
Congo, same thing. So places where it's always kind of quiet. You don't hear fighting on the news. That's probably why. They're in the bureaucracy. They're keeping the interest of the neo-colonial power. It's really a neo-colony. It's because you got, reason why we call it that, because you got black people in charge in terms of the face of it, but they're puppets. But the economic and political power is really controlled by the outside. So it's a neo-colony. They can hide their hands even more so than they did when they actually had colonizing forces there, physical colonizing forces in Africa. So all they did during that particular time, when they left one way and they came into another door, but they came behind the puppet they put up front.
Now they come in as, they have all their countries over there on foreign soil, and they still are controlling the economy, even though they technically aren't there.
Right. It's more insidious now than it was when you could see them. I mean, Africans can see them right there. Hey, we got to get these people out of our land. It's very simple. It's very simple. Although everybody didn't agree on that, because you had so many years of people who were colonial minded that was against it. Some people wanted, and depending on what country you talk about, some people during the colonial era wanted independence now. Other ones, we want independence by the early possible time. We still want them over here. And this is still some of the thinking. Well, we still need the French, or we still need the British over here. We still need the Belgium over here to teach us. It's ridiculous, not remembering what they had prior, years earlier. Africa was in what was called territorial states. We were master of a territorial state where you didn't have urbanization. You had a lot of frontier that nothing was built on, but that's what they hunted on. That's where they got some of the food. That's where they of course, some areas were more advanced than others, but
and they came in there and destroyed any advances, even though the advances that were in Africa were way ahead of them.
Right. Absolutely. So, we can. You go to what? You can say, okay, Egypt's cool, but doing this contemporaneously, that some of the Egyptian time frames, you also can see during the same time, West Africa was also at a golden age themselves, with the Ghana Empire, the Mali, and the Songhai Empire. Timbuktu. Some of that stuff was later though, but certainly the Ghana Empire was contemporaneous with a lot that went on.
Wasn't it West Africans that first came over to the New World, as it's called?
You know what? I haven't. I can't say that I've actually seen it, but I believe that, yes.
Because my understanding is that there is evidence that Africans were in South America before, and in North America, yes, before the Vikings.
I haven't seen that. I know definitely we were over here at an early time, but I do know that the Native American had been here before even that. But definitely that definitely had some people that was here before whites. I don't think we were the first one over here. I don't believe that. A lot of people believe that.
No. What I'm saying is that we predated the Vikings. The Vikings like this, but they have some types of evidence that shows that Africans came here before. There was already somebody here when the Africans came too.
Yeah, they tried. These people now, you got these people talking about, oh no, we were here for anybody else. I'm like, man, you haven't seen that. There's no evidence of that. But yes, I believe that. Yes, I've seen the pictures, some of the ancient pictures of the blacks who were here, but yeah, I believe that, because I mean we were on the earth, at least according to scientist Sheikh Anta Diop,
And we
in his book.
already know that somehow Africans made it to Hawaii.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure we circumvented the earth. I mean, we're on this earth a million years before anyone else, according to Sheikh Anta Diop.
Well, yeah, because they don't like to talk about the fact that King Kamehameha was African.
Yeah, he looked it. I seen his when I was over in I was stationed in Hawaii in Marines, and I saw his his likeness. Like, damn, he looked like a brother.
Yeah, I mean, Africans were there and mixed with the natives that were there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's still a lot that's yet to be uncovered. I mean, we've been here for a long period of time, so there's still
we still really don't have a good handle on how old the Earth actually is.
Right. But certainly, I just bring all that out just to kind of connect it with Zionism. Really, they also have control of many of the resources in Africa. The diamond. There's no diamond mines in Israel, but they had a lot to do with South Africa and those diamond mines. They colluded with them a lot.
The blood diamonds.
Right. They were really twin regimes, really, that did the same thing, to the Palestinians and to the Africans. And I alluded, we were going to talk about this, but we can get into this another time because I know it's getting late. But the Jan Smuts, who was the prime minister, the first prime minister, and then you had Chaim Weizmann, who was the first prime minister of Israel. So, he was their president. There was correspondence. There's letters that exist between the two. Yes. So a lot of people need to look at that. It's a book called Weizmann and Smuts. That's the book. You can find it. Very rare book. I don't have it. I read it once, but I don't have it. I was borrowed and I had it, but Weizmann and Smuts. Good book. If you really want to know the mindset of those leaders at that time, we're talking about during the Balfour Declaration at that time, because the Union of South Africa apartheid government started around 1912, I believe. Something like that. The Balfour Declaration was written in 1917. Okay, so you can kind of see the contemporaneous time there, the timeline there. So, I mean, it's still colonialism, though. You got occupiers. You had occupiers down there. In fact, let me just mention this though. Did you guys see Phil, the Abai show the other day, talk about there is a all white town still in Africa that they will not let blacks come into? Did y'all hear about that?
Wait a minute. What?
They try. They try to give us the okie doke. There's an all white town that it's called Orania somewhere, and right after the apartheid regime stepped down, they established this particular town. I'm trying to figure out where it is. I'm trying to find out where it is.
Is it somewhere in South Africa?
Yeah, it's an all white town that prohibits blacks.
Wow.
In 2009.
I have to ask my friend Latu. He's been in the chat a couple of times. Commentary with Latu. He's South African and he still lives in South Africa. I'll have to ask him if he knows anything about that.
Go to if you go to Phil's channel, he doesn't call it the Advice Show no more. What's he calls it? But I guess you can still access it. He had a video yesterday or the day before, and he talked about that. So, you definitely talk to your friend, but that's where you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll look for it, and then I'll once I find out the correct name, I'll ask him if he knows anything about it, since he still lives in South Africa.
Them people would have had 24 hours to get out. There's no way in the world that Africans should tolerate any kind of.
Oh, Darren just said it's the African Dysphoria Network.
Right. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he said it
Just
in the chat.
Right. Since I know it's getting late, that's all I got, sis. I don't want to hold you.
No worries, no worries. Oh, wait a minute. Deacon's back.
Oh, he's coming back? Oh, okay.
Hey,
all right.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm having some issues over here with this Wi-Fi, so I don't know what's going on. But I do want to thank you, Diva, for allowing me to come up and have a conversation with you. And Terry, man, it was good to talk to you, man.
Yeah,
Finally.
Terry, you gave us some knowledge as usual.
Thank you very much. You too.
I'm too. Yeah, enjoyed it.
I call myself an astute student of things. I'm not I don't consider myself an expert or a historian. I'm an astute student. I'll put that. I'm always learning. But thank you.
And let me correct myself. I said ISP. I meant one SP. I don't even get that brother's name, man.
Right. So, absolutely. So, yeah, you too, Deke. I know, man. I'm glad you finally hear my voice anyway, brother. You know, and I've heard yours, so now you know what I sound like.
I really appreciate it, because you're always over on my videos, man. Always commenting and watching. So I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, we all got acquainted in your live streams. I just want to keep up the friendships myself. Cool. Yeah, I was like, man, I liked our group. You know what I'm saying? Even So Alchemy. Yeah, I wanted us all to stay together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too, man. I hated that shit went down that way, the way it did, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, I still go. I go to her. I went to her.
I'm still willing to work with her. I don't have a problem with Soul Alchemy, Kings of Curls. None of that. I don't have any issues with them. I really don't.
I know you don't. That's definitely something you can hopefully get together with them with. I go to Kinks too. Not lately because she's been off a couple of days, but I was at Soul Alchemy, and she was talking. She was talking about the book too. She was talking about the Robin.
Yeah, I know. I told her I was talking about it too, but I think she's actually like putting snippets of the actual audio book in hers, and I'm just giving you guys my commentary.
Right. Both are good though. Both are good. So I was over there too on her live too, making a few comments. So I had to do some things. So I was like, yeah, check this out, check that out, because it just seems, all the stuff now that's unfolding, and I put this on her live, that this seems like they didn't protect Whitney like they should. This seemed like she wasn't. Too many things happened to that sis. It didn't seem like it should have happened like that. It hurts that it went down like that. You know what I mean?
Well, according to Robin, the big Huda, which is what she called Sissy, didn't seem to be bothered by the fact that all 3 of her children were doing coke.
Damn, that's crazy. See that, man? That's just, man. I mean, she's too young for that to go down. And then I heard she had a baby by a cousin or something. She had another child. Did y'all hear about that one?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, I don't believe nobody heard that yet. Yeah, that came out earlier this year, last year, that our cousin or somebody impregnated. I'm like, damn. Hell, I mean, she had mother and father, but the hell, I know her mother was singing, going out on the road, but damn, the father was weak.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn,
that one up. I have it's so far in the book. Robin hasn't said anything about it.
Right.
So maybe I don't even know anything about it.
There's a picture with her and some child that I guess it went somewhere else to live, and then it was kept quiet. It was an incest thing that went down. I was like, damn. First of all, somebody would got stomped real well. First and foremost, I got the ass kicked. Yeah, I would have to see. Yeah, then I had to tend to my daughter. So.
Yeah.
So it was Whitney and the cousin, or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
don't call
I know that they had some things talking about that her cousin D in the book saying that she never heard anything like that. Whitney seemed to have no issues with Dee Dee at all.
Right. Okay. Man, it's just, I never bought any of her music because I thought she should have been more. I know she liked the ballads, but I would have loved to have seen her do some funk or something more, funked up. Because that's how I am.
It appears that that's what I'm seeing so far in the book is that even when she tried to do more urban black music, Clive wasn't having it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would, because she had the style to do some serious stuff though. I would love to have seen some there, but
they did not want her to sound too black.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because I've never bought any of her records. Although I appreciated her, I'm more of a Tony Braxton, Mary J. Blige kind of guy.
I like all of them, but I can't. I'm not. Tony Braxton is not my vocal range, so of course I did more of the Whitney stuff. So
right,
but I love both of them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Thankfully, Tony didn't get caught up in that part of the life.
Yeah.
Different decisions.
Yeah, it looks as though she was just too square to want to get up in that stuff, though. She definitely has some. Them females.
But here's the thing: both of them were church girls.
Yeah,
both of them were church girls. But the difference is that, Tony wasn't around. Didn't have a sibling that was, introducing her to drugs, and she's the oldest.
Right.
And Whitney's the youngest.
Yeah.
Different dynamics.
True. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure her mother was always gone singing. I looked into her mother's. I didn't know her mother sung in the 50s and the 60s. I was like, damn.
But it looks to me like Sissy was very, very hard on Whitney, and she let the boys get away with murder.
Okay, I see your point. Yeah. I guess you got a point there.
But she didn't seem to have a problem with Whitney doing the drugs. I'm like, right. What the?
Contradiction in there. Yeah.
What kind of mother was she? What kind of mother were you really? And then that's another thing that Robin brought out in the book is that, despite what people may think, Whitney nor her brothers had a very close relationship with their mother. They didn't even do things for her on Mother's Day, which is the bare minimum.
I guess. Yeah, I guess it would be. I guess it does go back to her because that's where the buck stops, huh? The parents. So, yeah, I guess so.
Because like when Nippy had her company, Whitney had the company. The biggest office was supposed to be hers, but her mother made such a stink about about her office that she let her mother have her office, and she took one of the smaller offices, and then both of her parents were up there all up in her company.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though she was supposedly the boss.
Oh no. Good Lord. What? Why was, man, that's crazy. No, I had no idea it was that crazy.
But she apparently had a closer relationship with her dad.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I've seen pictures of him. Is he still alive?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Because I know I see the mom getting interviewed by Oprah and a few other folks a few years here since her daughter Whitney's daughter passed away. which really, man, that kind of hurt me, even though I didn't know the young lady or I wasn't a fan. But man, when I heard about that, I'm like, damn.
But see, like for me, when I was, trying to do the music thing and everything, that was, back in the same time frame, because me and Whitney would be the same age. Right. And I saw a lot of stuff. I saw the coke. I mean, if you wanted it, it was there. Anything you wanted, everything was around. It's like you had to make the right decisions, and I wasn't willing to make compromises and do certain things, and I'm not saying that she was, because I really don't know what her story was, but I do know that her doing those drugs and everything probably made it easier for them to control her.
Right. No one protecting her, man. Just
well, that's,
and then that guy.
No, go ahead.
Oh, then the guy that went with her daughter. I'm trying to remember his name. The guy who, because he was interviewed by Dr. Phil. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I saw that.
See, so yeah, he was getting all upset, running around the studio and getting upset. I saw that on TV.
Dude had issues. I think he did something to that girl.
It doesn't seem like it though, because I had a problem with the interview. Yeah,
but a lot of one of the things that people don't forget is that right before Whitney allegedly drowned, her daughter almost drowned in that same tub like a day or two before.
Okay. I was curious because Whitney passed away and then the daughter passed away the same way. And so when I heard about that interview, Nick, that's his name, Nick.
Yeah, but I'm saying that there's a conspiracy behind all of that stuff to me, especially the fact that while Whitney's body was laying up in that hotel room, they had a party. Clive Davis had a party downstairs.
Right. Yeah.
Still went ahead and had the party while her body was laying dead upstairs.
Man, that's cold. That's cold.
No, what that's called is that's some type of demonic sacrifice to me.
That's what I heard too, was some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah,
because
I've heard it been said
that you wouldn't have the party, that you wouldn't move the party to someplace else, but you would go ahead and have it in the same building while that body is laying upstairs dead. Yeah, no.
You shouldn't have the party at all.
Right.
At that point.
But the eerie thing is that they went ahead and had it, and then had it in that building while her body still lay cold on the floor.
Yeah.
Like the floor was an altar.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I've heard tell that could have been a situation. I've heard people say that.
Yep.
More likely than not, just you almost like you wish you were there to watch over the system. You know what I mean? So no one could do
it
that
was crazy. But the guy that I was dealing with and doing music with was the same one that brought Brandy out.
Oh, okay.
Because I was dealing with people out here in California. So,
right.
But then I had my son, and that pretty much stopped me from doing anything other than session work and everything. I just, decided I would write and do session work, and couldn't be chasing that dream and raising him.
Right. You were attempting to be a solo artist. Is that what it was?
I was.
Okay. Because we still want to hear you sing. We haven't heard you sing yet. So.
It's on
I have.
it's
Oh,
it's
yeah?
on YouTube. It's on
I have.
YouTube.
I haven't
I
found
have
this.
it.
I've been looking for it.
I have it.
Oh, you have?
I have it.
Terry, you should be able to find it because you know my first name, so you should be able to find it. If you know my government first name, you should be able to find it.
I do. Okay. So that's what it's under? It's under that name?
It's under my real name. Yeah, it's under my real name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do know that. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. If you know my first name, you and that's how Leffler found it because he knows my name.
Right. Of course. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know mine too because she knows.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I said, if you know if you're a Facebook friend, you can find it.
Right. Have you been to my Facebook page yet though?
I have been to your Facebook page.
With
the picture of you. With the picture of
right.
you.
I was a kid though, so
I know.
Okay.
I know.
So you know my first and last name. Okay, good.
Yes, I do.
All right.
I sure do. And I was like, and you know my first and last name. My government name is on Facebook because they made me change it to my government name on there.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I was gonna say I'll look for it then. Yeah. Because I think you told me.
It's
I don't know why I couldn't find it.
It's on a page for something called you just have to look for the Eagle Nest and my name, my first name, and you'll find it.
All right, we'll check it out.
Yeah, you'll find it. It's like from 9 years ago. It's like from around the time. Yeah, it's because I think I did that probably around the time that my mom died. As a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's sitting down singing.
Huh?
I said she's sitting down singing.
I was sitting down. I was sitting on a stool. It's a little like it's one of those little neighborhood bars that had karaoke.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I caught myself trying to sing Marvin Gaye, but I don't sound that like him though.
Well, I wasn't singing Whitney in that. I think I was singing Evanescence, Bring Me to Life.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I wasn't even singing. I wasn't singing Whitney. I was singing a rock song.
Oh, I mean, because I could tell you I'm a Marvin Gaye fan, so I can tell you.
I love Marvin Gaye.
You listen to the old stuff when he was young though, back in the 60s?
Oh yeah, I listen to everything. He's from DC. Why wouldn't I listen? I make sure people know that he's from DC and not from Detroit.
Okay, you're right. Because I know all those songs, but I don't sound like him.
Yeah, no,
I'll be trying though.
Marvin had a certain type of voice.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but I'm not.
He had amazing pitch.
Man, bad boy, bad.
Have you ever listened to the cut that's on YouTube where they have him singing "Heard It Through the Grapevine" and it's just his vocals, nothing else?
I haven't.
You haven't?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, you have. It's on
yes,
YouTube.
But I have it on DVD. When it first came out, when they put that out, I bought that. It was a video.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. No, I haven't heard it there, but I have it.
Yeah, but so, I'm like that. It's like well, then it's like you listen to that, you know how amazing his vocals are with nothing.
Yes, man. Yeah, acapella. Yeah, they cut the music, and yeah, I was checking that out because I didn't know that was on there. Damn. I had like, oh yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, Marvin was the master.
Yeah, it just man.
Yeah. Well, my cousins, and here's the thing: I have cousins that literally lived around the corner. And
okay.
And anyone who lived in the neighborhood, they heard the gunshot. The whole neighborhood heard the gunshot.
Oh yeah, his dad, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
when that happened. And I remember when they announced it on the radio, everybody thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. That right there. Man. That's a
Yeah,
cold.
it was April Fool's joke. It sure did.
Man, yeah, you know, just wonder. I don't know the whole story, but man, just how can a father kill his son, kill his own child? Though, man?
Yeah, but according to what everybody's saying is that Marvin was the aggressor and his father, it was in self-defense.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Guess so. I guess there had to be something going on, huh? Because they said he
Yeah,
was doing a lot of drugs and stuff. So
that's what I'm saying.
believe
And he was doing a lot of drugs. So I think he may have been in a heightened state because it was an argument that turned fatal.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Damn,
it was the whole that was a sad situation.
Yeah.
That he went out in that manner, and it was like I think his birthday is April 2nd, and it happened on April 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it happened like the day before his birthday. That's why everybody thought it was an April Fool's joke because it happened on April 1st. So we just knew they were, you just knew that they were. Oh, that's the April Fool's joke. They're playing. Marvin ain't dead,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know it's getting late and it's Friday. Woo.
Oh.
And it's payday for me.
All right.
I was like,
well,
not that I'm getting ready to go get that money right now. That money's there to pay bills and hopefully pay for a plane ticket for me and my son to go to North Carolina to see my dad next month. But, yeah. But I appreciate you guys getting up here with me tonight. I also appreciate when you guys, come into those pop-ups during the daytime. Please expect more of them. They will be happening anytime that, I got some time during the daytime to do them. Now that I figured out how to stop the Streamlabs if it trips,
right.
But we, I will see you guys tomorrow. Definitely, I will be on tomorrow night. But who knows? Depends on how my work day is going. I might pop up again during the day.
Right.
So, Diva, how many hours are you away from your 4K?
Oh, I'm in the hundreds, so I'm a long way away. But I've had like 2 people that ran my playlist already, but I'm not going to really be looking for people to run my playlist and stuff until I'm closer to 1,000. That's why I'm doing these pop-ups during the day to help get my hours up, because I see that during the day I have the potential of getting a lot more people, even if I come on for just an hour.
Yeah.
So
because you got to factor in the East Coast time too.
Yep, but I'm keeping my the nighttime ones, and then like on days like Thanksgiving and and Christmas, I might do longer lives. It'll get there, but I mean, I have to keep in mind that I've only been really active on YouTube since August. And there's people that have been on here, who have actively had their channel going for years.
Yeah.
And I'm closer to monetization than they are. So.
Yeah. Well, you got me by a mile because I'm just getting started and I've been around since 2007. Ain't that true? I was just I think I might mention I was just in.
Here's the thing, Terry. I've technically been around since 2011 because they go by the date that you actually created the YouTube channel. And I did have 2 videos on here. I took one of them I made private because it'll get copyright strikes, but I left the other one from 7 years ago up there, and people still go and look at it. So, and I leave it because it counts for watch hours.
Right.
But
let Let's say real quick. I know we're about out of here, but man, there's a lot of women with that name.
I know.
I'm in YouTube over here. Laptop.
A lot of older women with my name, but not younger women. People don't name their daughters that anymore. I'm named after my father. So
right. So dang, man, I don't see you in there.
and there's only two songs that have ever been written that have my name in them.
Okay, so I mean, what should I? Can you tell me real fast? What should I put in this browser?
Eagle's Nest. It's Eagle's Nest, and then put my first name in.
Oh, okay, that's where I messed up. All right, I put both of them. Okay. All right, listen to this.
Yep, just my first name.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So
you'll find it. It's from like 9 years ago.
I see you now. I see it. I see you now.
Because I have my hair up. I don't have my hair in braids.
I'm checking it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that is my hair. That was my hair at that time, flat ironed. I don't know if it's that. I guess it's that long. It probably is almost that long now.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling some kind of way now because I had exclusive rights on them. Now somebody else got them.
Oh, hush.
I had actually been asked about it. Yeah.
I like. As you can see, not too many people have looked at that video because not too many people know it's out there.
I see.
Yeah.
Very low views. I got it. Oh yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Did I leave a comment on there? I thought I left a comment on there. I'm not sure.
You might have. I still know the person who posted it.
Let me open her up real quick.
Yes, the karaoke friend of mine who likes to post pictures, who likes to post videos of everybody singing karaoke. So.
Yeah, I saw the brother.
He caught me on a good night that night because he had been bugging me for like 6 months before I finally let him do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
But thank you guys for coming through, and I know I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I got some videos to catch up on Left First channel. So.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, well, like I said, I appreciate having me up, and it was good talking to you guys. This is fun.
Good. It was definitely good. Thank you both guys for coming up, and thank everybody who hung out and stayed in the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm gonna definitely check out the African Diaspora Network. Somehow I think I am subscribed to them though. I think that I'm subscribed to them, but I don't think I have the bell on for their videos.
Oh, okay.
But I think I'm subscribed to the Africa Diaspora Network. I'm almost positive that I am. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. And this is another one that I did this over 3 hours, but I did almost an hour and a half earlier today. So I'm gonna just keep pushing.
5 hours.
Absolutely, sis.
Yep, keep pushing and keep growing. But I appreciate. I love when you guys come up on the panels now that I actually know how to do them because it helps for a good, healthy discussion. And I learned a lot about cigars.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. And thank you, everybody in the chat. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace on the other side as always.
All right. Till then.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Peace, everybody.
Bye, Leopard. Bye.